live here from Schnardve, a lake in the Masurian Lake District of the Warmian Masurian Voivodeship, Poland. At 113.8 square kilometers, or 43.9 square miles, Zreniardve is the largest lake in Poland. It's also the largest lake in Prussia and in Germany when Warmia Mazuria was under German rule and formed the southern part of East Prussia. Interesting facts. We are here today with a very jam-packed special edition of the PondCast, number 45. So I have to have different fingers now. Yeah, until 55, it's the next one. Can we keep going for 60? Yeah, 66 is going to be a good one, I think. Because that's 2 thumbs up. Anyway, yes, we are here today with that. I'm, of course, as usual, your host, Yaku of Dizaku, and with me today is El Cortacesped desde el Anoquechar hasta el Amanejar, like _VIP, and as usual, we are being produced by Pizwijaj Linkov Kitori Ruby Mijlik 60 Squatsenseki. Kuro, how you doing?
What's up, Yaku? What's up? Yes, we're here. We are back once again. We were live earlier this morning with some Enki show matches. Now we have returned here with the PondCast. We're here to catch up on a week worth of news. And this week, this has happened a couple of times here, but it's a bit of a rare sight. No interviews.
Yeah, nothing to go over, nothing to watch, nothing to read. It's an interesting change of pace, to say the least. I'm not fully used to this, but regardless, we do have a lot of news to go over. So that kind of makes up for that.
100%. There's so much to indulge in. And up first, when it comes to the news, we have one of the biggest pieces of news here, and that is we have now confirmed the bidding war is over for the Blizzard IP over in South Korea. We did announce this a couple of weeks ago that there were many game publishers and many game developers that were, of course, bidding for the IP of StarCraft, and it is over, and we have a winner.
Indeed, we do. Perhaps not too surprising, Nexon has ended up winning that bidding war and, will be licensed to create spin-off games. Well, not just spin-off games, apparently, according to the article, but also mods and user-generated content, memes, essentially, with the StarCraft IP, as well as distribution rights for whatever they create with these IPs in Korea and Japan. That's not all, though, as we have confirmation that, we do have confirmation that Nexon is also planning to create a new Overwatch mobile game, which, as of right now, is speculated to be a MOBA.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's something important to bear in mind as well, is the kind of publisher that Nexon is. Once again, to reiterate, because we did have to mention the first time we announced that there was some bidding going on, is that a lot of these game publishers in Korea, they're not necessarily known for RTSs, they're known for other forms of games, a lot of them mobile based. So some people are maybe like speculating, or there's some clickbait out there talking about how new StarCraft game soon, StarCraft 3 question mark. It's like, no, we don't really expect any of that. We do expect some other forms of games here, reusing the StarCraft IP.
Yeah, like a FPS game potentially, or perhaps an RPG, a side-scrolling RPG. Nexon, they have a lot under their belt.
Yeah, Nexon, I feel like they are mostly known for DFO and MapleStory, which are side-scrolling like MMORPGs, and I feel like that might be where they head with StarCraft, or maybe a MOBA or a MOBA game or a mobile game of some kind. Regardless, I mean, it's still exciting seeing that the StarCraft IP is going to be used in a different way. Maybe not an RTS, but obviously a different kind of game, and hopefully it's a good one. Regardless of what it becomes, I'm looking forward to see what it looks like and how it turns out.
Yeah, I like that in the article here, and it's possible that this is a mistranslation, as obviously the article was originally published in Korean, but in the article here, there's a little bit of speculation. Whoever wrote this is pretty much in agreement with us that it's probably not going to be an RTS, but there's a little bit of speculation of perhaps a MOBA or a card game, is what they're saying.
Yeah, I could see a CranKy working for sure, for sure. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of excitement around what game would come next. So shout out to Nexon for I guess winning that bidding war, and again, I think some of the other, or they did mention how some of the other developers out there did attempt to, but weren't quite able to beat out Nexon.
Yeah, Nexon's got that Maple Story money.
They got that Maple Story money.
They got that Maple Story money.
Let's go. Up next, we do have some roster changes here. We did touch on this last week as well. This week, we do have Spirit Piotr. He joins a new team. This time, not Na'Vi, but he was picked up by a new face in StarCraft 2, picked up by ROC Esports.
Yeah, a Saudi Arabian esports organization currently fielding teams around the world in different esport titles. For Rainbow Six Siege, it looks like they are focusing more on local talent, but for Overwatch, they are focused more on getting Chinese players by the looks of things, or competing in the Chinese region.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, new face does step into the ring. This is a little bit disappointing in the sense that if you recall, specifically for Spirit's departure of Na'Vi, it was less of a departure. And remember, they kind of left it open. They said like, "Oh,
pause."
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, we're suspending our." Yeah, we're like suspending our StarCraft 2 roster for the time being, and we might go back into it in the next wave of EWC when it gets announced again. But it looks like that is not the case. It looks like Spirit has officially departed ways with Na'Vi and found another place to go home.
Yeah, the musical chairs continues for players being picked up for EWC, specifically for StarCraft 2. I have to wonder if we're going to see any player who was was picked up last year as the sole StarCraft player for EWC, then got kind of let go. I have to wonder if any one of them will get signed to the same team again this year.
I want to say there's a chance that Cloud9 pick up Gumiho again, right? Like there is a chance that would happen. It was last time where Blacklist International picked up Creator, but I don't know if that would happen again because if you remember, Creator, he failed to qualify for EWC, so that was like a pickup that wasn't necessarily as worth it for Blacklist. I can't quite recall what are the other teams that maybe Astrea and Virtus Pro
ones. Astrea and Virtus Pro, Shin and Gaming. Although Shin left Gaming Gladiators pretty recently, so I guess that's not exactly equivalent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Astray is the next one, right? Because as we pointed out last week, Astray, he's back. Like we were concerned that he was going to silently retire, but Astray, he did start competing again last week in the Pigfest qualifiers and in the Turtle Tussle as well. So Astray did mark his return.
A lot to go about regarding Astray this week, but yeah, once again, pretty interesting to see that whether it's the players themselves have decided that there's a better contract or better opportunities for them with different teams, or if it was the organizations initially thinking like, okay, we should look elsewhere, for who we want to pick up this year for EWC.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a combination of the two. Like, I would not be surprised if for Hero, if Weibo Gaming tried to get him back and Twisted Minds offered something better, just because I think Hero has.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, I have a feeling just because of how quickly that announcement came after EWC was announced. I have a feeling that Twisted Minds was kind of kicking themselves last year and being like, okay, we couldn't get Hero, but he's a free agent now, and so I feel like once that announcement came out, they immediately just sent him an offer.
For sure. I'm sure that did occur. But regardless, shouts and congratulations to Spirit for finding a team. And I'm sure in the coming weeks, we're going to be seeing some more pickups, right? Whether it's for players like Gumiho, like Astrea, like Creator, like there's still some Showtime. Showtime is still like a very hot pickup that still has yet to be acquired.
Yeah, you got Showtime, you got Hero Marine potentially.
Yeah, so we'll see. Meanwhile, we did have another kind of adjacent announcement here as well with Nightmare. Nightmare apparently is going to be competing in a Deadlock. I didn't even know Deadlock was competitive. Am I crazy?
It's out. It's officially out now. It is competitive. Yeah.
Sorry, I think I'm confusing with Helldivers. In my brain, they're both the same thing.
I think you are. Helldivers is a PvE game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's how I was very confused. I was like, wait, what? Okay.
Deadlock is like the third-person FPS Dota. That's how it's been described.
So it's like another Overwatch or like a Marvel Rivals, I suppose, or
Kind
like a.
of. I mean, it's less arcadey than Marvel
Mhm.
Rivals or Overwatch, but because there are actual lanes in Deadlock, from what I understand. But there's also a
Okay.
verticality that adds another dimension there.
Okay.
It's
Interesting.
kind of
So
like Smite. It's more similar
right,
to
I was,
Smite, I think,
yeah, I was,
is
yeah, I was. In my mind, I was
a
like,
better
yeah, there was another like
comparison.
third person like Dota or sorry MOBA game. Yeah, Smite is another one. Yeah, true. Which isn't an FPS but third person and also has lanes as well. So yeah, interesting to hear. Also just as a reminder, Nightmare is still on Streamer Zone for StarCraft 2. It looks like they have formed a partnership, or at least sorry, they've loaned the player to Pulsar Esports so that Nightmare can also compete in
Or
Deadlock.
Deadlock, yeah, specifically. Which again, it's it, it's something to note of just how popular Deadlock has gone with amongst the StarCraft community as well. I remember back in the beta, we had the team of, was it Lambo, the Muslim Scarlet, I think Rotterdam, and then somebody else as well competing in like a beta tournament. See,
Okay. There you go. Like personally, I'm not too familiar with it, but yeah, it's cool to hear maybe some other StarCraft players or personalities getting involved in Deadlock and taking part in it. So wishing the best, 100% to Nightmare. That does lead us into our next bit of news. That leads us into the GSL details that we have acquired. Of course, we had the qualifiers not too long ago, but now we have some more information when it comes to the format, when it comes to the dates as well for the main event.
yes, and we'll go over the qualifiers next week and the qualified players. As do not fret, we are actually going to be casting them this week. But yeah, we have confirmation of the dates. We're going to have 2 seasons of GSL pretty much jam packed together. So season 1 begins on the 7th of May and is expected to go all the way until the 16th. After that, we have roughly a little less than 2 week break where we'll be going into, wait, is my math right? Yeah, little bit less than 2 week break before jumping into season 2, officially beginning on the 28th of May and expected to go on until the 13th. We also have a 40 million Korean won prize pool, which is equivalent to,
Should around 40,000, right? Like it's like
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about, yeah, 30,000 USD. A little
yeah,
bit less.
yeah. Yeah, so of course, there's a little criticism about some of the details here for GSL, just specifically on how jam-packed and how intense the schedule is going to be, because we have 2 GSLs, as you mentioned, in such a short period of time. I'm sure a big part of it is also because of EWC and the late announcement, so everything has to kind of be
Yeah.
rushed a little bit before EWC takes place for those qualifying spots. So it is a
It
shame, and it is, yeah, not ideal
it
scheduling-wise.
it's like we have GSL season 1, then we have DreamHack Dallas. Then we have GSL Season 2. Then we have Star Zagora. Or I think Star Zagora happens during GSL Season 2, so.
Yeah. So it shows kind of like the downside, or it shows the outcome of something being announced so late regarding EWC. Right, because of that, suddenly we're all rushing to just host all these events as quickly as possible in the lead up to EWC as well. So unfortunately, this is the aftermath of that, and players are suffering as a result. This also leads into something that we mentioned previously regarding Maru last week, emphasizing just how he's not going to be able to travel to Star Zagora because of GSL and because of all these other events that are all just taking place at around the same time.
Yeah, a little bit more context given there from Crank. It's not just Maru feeling the strain. Most of the Korean players are also pretty unhappy with just how many offline events there are going to be in these 2 upcoming months. But a lot of players, particularly players like Maru, who already have injuries in their limbs, are going to have to like really make a hard cut and say, okay, I can play in 2 of these 4.
Mhm.
And the fact of the matter is, playing in a domestic tournament is easier because you're not, going to have to be on a plane and sitting down on a cramped seat for as long.
Yeah, exactly. So some players have to pick and choose, they have to prioritize what they should and what they should not play in because they can't pull off playing in everything. So that is a bit of a shame. That does also mean that the tournaments are going to suffer as a result, right? Whereas an event would otherwise feature Maru, now it can't, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was looking
Specifically
forward
for
to
Smash.
PvP Maru versus Clem, but
True.
guess that ain't gonna. Guess that's not quite gonna happen yet.
Smurge. I mean,
Maybe at
unironically,
EWC.
yeah, unironically, I was legitimately looking forward to a PvT between Clem and Maru because Maru is the only Terran that Clem hasn't beaten because they don't play, that they haven't played against each other, right? Because Maru's been having a bit of a break during the downtime, and that would have been a big event for it, but maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
With that leads us into our next bit of news here regarding DreamHack Dallas.
Indeed. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this feels like a lot of the information is pretty much
Yeah.
the same as what was originally announced. However, we do have a sign-up bracket now, so that's kind of important to have if you're having a tournament.
Yeah, exactly. As you mentioned, like a lot of the details of the tournament we had already been made aware of. But I guess now we have greater detail when it comes to the format. You can see here 32-player double elimination brackets, top 2 advance into a 8-player single elimination bracket. So that we didn't know before, like the specific format of the event itself.
So it sounds like there's going to be a knockout bracket.
There is no knockout bracket from my understanding, right? Like this.
I'm trying to figure out how to how to interpret this. So obviously there are no invited players. Qualifiers are completely open to anybody who flies down or drives down or basically is present at the DreamHack Dallas venue. And then from there we'll have 32 players. Wait, no, we'll have 32 plus 8. We'll have 32 plus 6. 38 players advancing, and then the top 6 will be seeded directly into the single elimination bracket, and then we'll have a 32 double elimination bracket. Wait, no, because it's 4 times 32. Wait, 4 times 32 is 128. Yeah, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah.
I interpreted it wrong. My math was off. I thought I saw the 4x and I just completely ignored the fact that meant multiply.
Yeah. I understand.
I was like, yes, 4x.
I think
like
that's
4x
just
games.
That's the capacity of, because again, it's for 128 players. I don't know if they're going to get 128 players,
and then it's
but
top 2 from each bracket.
Yeah, top 2 from each bracket. They form the single elimination bracket. It is a shame that it is going to be single elimination, like kind of playoff brackets, and not double elimination. So that is going to be a bit of a more brutal format when it comes to the kind of like the playoff bracket, I should say. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the event turns out. And likewise, I think more importantly, something that everyone wants to know is who's going to be at the event as well. So only time will tell for that.
Yeah. Well, I see Clem over here in the promotional material, so I have a feeling that that's subtle foreshadowing.
Yeah, it might be foreshadowing that he won't go.
Yeah, to be fair, I think Clem is just qualified to EWC by default, so I don't think he has to go.
He doesn't have to go to Dallas because he's the world champ, so he already has a seed. He doesn't have to go.
Yeah, that's the only reason why they're using him promotionally, just because he's the, of course, reigning champion. But yeah, so we'll see who's able to go.
I disagree.
Take part. So we'll see who's able to be part of that.
I disagree with that premise. I think they're putting Clem in the promotional material because they're hoping to manifest Clem showing up to Dallas.
Okay.
He's not gonna, but this is part of the ritual.
That also leads us into our next bit of news here, into a big announcement from Wardy. The Wardy TV 2025 series has been announced, almost a year-long circuit here for Wardy's events.
Indeed. So not part of the EWC, but still going to be a circuit nonetheless. And yeah, one that's still going to be very, very competitive. We're going to be having the Wardy TV 2025 series, as you mentioned, beginning with the Summer Championship. That's, worldwide, leading into the European League, leading into the Korean Royale. Then we'll have a little bit of a smaller tournament in the form of the Fall Frenzy. And that all, of course, leads up to the main grand final event, the Wardy TV 2025 Championship.
Yes, exactly. Some of these events are events that Wardy has, of course, hosted in the past. But he did want to try to bring everything together. I believe it's been a while since we had the Korean Royale, for example, or the European League as well. So did want to host some big online events during the interim when there is no EWC. So now players do have something big to look forward to. On top of that, this is all crowdfunded as well. If you want to help support the tournament, you can do so via Indiegogo. Already 9,000 AUD at least has been or more than 50% of the prize money or the goal has been reached. And again, we still have plenty of time to increase this even further.
It's been a while since I heard Indiegogo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we do have a big announcement. Wardy did actually create a video going into some of the more details of it as well. So a lot of StarCraft going on when it comes to crowdfunded tournaments. We got the Pig Fest, we got all the regular weeklies, we have Wardy's big events, and we have the RSL as well, which we're going into more detail as well. So again, there's still a lot going on. And again, a lot of this is kind of crowdfunded, a lot of it is grassroots. This is, of course, showing what the community can host and fund on their own, even without, ESL support.
Indeed. A lot to go over. I mean, yeah, we just about, as you mentioned, we just about covered the minimum here when it comes to hosting these events and, of course, providing for the prize pool as well. But there's still many more goals to go.
Yeah. Again, the reason why, if you look at the TL article, how it's like 5,000 plus or 3,000 plus is because there's potential for that to be increasing further depending on how much support the Indiegogo does provide. There is a bare minimum and then potential for like even greater prize pools.
Yeah, which is exciting to say the least.
Yeah, for sure. So big news here regarding Wardy's tournaments. That leads us into our next big event as well. That is going to be the newly announced RSL. We did go over the announcement last week, of course, but now we have some more details as to the qualifiers.
Yep, we already have our invited players, so now we're going to have to figure out who else is going to be coming in. One slot for each of these three qualifiers, and of course they are soft locked in a way. We're going to have our NA server qualifier happening on May the 15th, our Asia server qualifier on May the 17th, and the EU qualifier on the 18th. So soft locked, as we mentioned, because this is open to anybody from anywhere around the globe to compete in. But of course, depending on which server you play in, it may or may not be as friendly of a time period for you or good for ping.
Yes, exactly. For those who are curious, of course, we, the CranKy Ducklings, are going to be covering them. We're going to be covering the qualifiers. Qualifiers are open to community casters, so expect to see whether it's ourselves, Wardy, Rotterdam, Steadfast, Chickenman, Dave Testa. Your typical community casters will be on these events. Of course, the main event is going to be covered by Tasteless, by State, by all those working behind the scenes over in Korea. That will be covered by them, but will be at least a part of the qualifiers.
That they will, and we also have a little bit more confirmation when it comes to the final two players that will qualify for RSL. And once again, like I feel like they listen to us quite a bit, as we have confirmation that voting will only begin after all of the open qualifiers conclude.
Yes. And not just that, but the voting will only be taking into consideration those that actually competed and played in the qualifiers. Of course, there is a little bit of a stipend there at the end, talking about how the organizers have the right to maybe add a player that didn't play in the qualifiers and maybe include them. Maybe there's like a certain key player like Trigger, for example, that wasn't able to play in the qualifiers. Maybe something came up, but they can add them there.
Yeah. They can force somebody to actually wake up,
Yes.
play their tournament.
Exactly. But as you mentioned, like, this is what we assumed, right? We made the assumption that, like, they're probably going to limit it to certain people that, like, actually compete and play and go in the qualifier. Otherwise, like, it'd be, like, the amount of available players to vote on would be, like, insane. So, yeah, as we mentioned, there are going to be those limitations. And, we'll see who makes it through those qualifiers. Again, it's all coming up.
Indeed. So stay tuned for that. Coming up about 2 weeks from now.
Oh, yeah. We'll be in 2 weeks. So look forward to the RSL. Likewise, RSL also, you can help support it via Patreon as well. Again, there's going to be Patreons and Indiegogos and all this stuff for all of these events moving forward. Do expect that. Meanwhile, we do have another big update. It's been only a couple of days. I think 2 days ago. If you didn't know, Yaku, the new ladder went live in game. We have a new
I
ladder
found
map
out. I found out from watching streams.
pool.
Caught me off guard.
Let's go. We weren't aware. We weren't too aware with when it would go live. We all knew it was going to be before EWC, but when exactly would it be? Before Star Zagora, before GSL? Well, it's already live. Bam, we got it
before all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we have our 7 new maps in addition to 2 maps from the previous pool, those 2 being Leylines and Ultra Love, fan favorites by the looks of things. And yeah, we also have a little bit more detail from Wax Angel himself regarding how they actually broke down and decided which of the 7 new maps to pick for the new map pool.
Yeah, we did get a little bit more insight from Wax Angel in regards to that, and do you actually have a link to that? It's not. I seem to have lost it.
There's no official link, so it was on the Discord.
Okay. Gonna go over it.
Yep. So obviously, we have. Obviously, the maps that are going in, the 2 from the previous map pool, Leylines and Ultra Loves, and then we have our top 3 community voted maps, which are Last Fantasy, Persephone, and Torches. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, there are also going to be the top 3 pro player poll maps from the TLMC 20 finalists, which are Incorporeal, Tokamak, and Maganatha. And then finally, there was a little bit of a map maker poll that was held, I imagine, on the map makers Discord as well, between 3. Originally, it was going to be a poll between 3 maps, but two of the top 3 kind of overlapped with the previous 2 polls that were Tokamak and Incorporeal. So in the end, they just went with Pylon.
Yeah, it was only gonna be one. But again, Tokamak was number 1 pick, and it was already picked previously. So then second place was Incorporeal, then third place was Pylon. So he went into how the maps were picked, and he also had like a.
No, I was just gonna say it's the best 2 words in the English language, right? Default.
There you go. But he did have something else to say upon taking this role. Again, for those who are curious, Wax Angel, he is the head admin of TLMC Map Contest, and of course did take it upon himself to actually take the initiative to step in and actually formulate this map pool as well.
I do want to say I'm not entirely sure if Wax is the head of TLMC or if he's just coordinating the TLMC, because Kantuva
he has
is
a title of.
Kantuva is also the one who's like doing a lot there. Just
he has a title of. He has a title of head admin of TLMC, so I'm going to refer to said title. But previously,
he's a de facto head just because he is kind of head of the TL editorial team.
True. Previously, ESL was crucial in communicating with Blizzard, enabling continued ladder map rotations. When ESL stepped away from the process with the closure of ESL Pro Tour, there was a limited time for TLMC to step into the role and ready a new map pool ahead of the EWC tournament cycle. Due to the time crunch, we focus on the short-term goal of readying a map pool that could serve as a rough approximation of the community's preferences. The first provisional map pool began with top 6 pro player plus TLMC public voting picks in an attempt to reflect the opinions of 2 key parts of the player base. While Last Fantasy was somewhat controversial for being the first 3 spawn location map pool starting position candidate map in years, testing did not reveal any serious competitive issues with the maps, and all 6 were retained for the final pool. I can say for this that I said it before. Wax, he did reach out to a bunch of casters, myself, I'm sure Steadfast, Chicken Man, Wardy, Pig, when it comes to gathering information on how some of these maps were playing out and whether there were any issues, whether there was anything kind of like drastic taking part and taking place.
How viewers kind of reacted as well, I imagine.
Yeah, for sure. We consider input from the map maker community as well, as they are important stakeholders who enable map rotations in the first place. Polling of qualified map makers, those who have won a finalist spot in the past 5 contests, revealed that their top picks aligned with the pros, as their third pick of Pylon placed highly in both the TLMC public vote and the pro survey. Pylon was chosen as the 7th map. With regards to the number of old maps to keep, this was, if you remember, there was a public voting on Reddit that we did go over last week. public polling favored a full rotation of 9 maps. However, voter participation was limited, and the swap all option did not win by a large margin. Out of caution, we elected to keep 2 old maps and swap in 7 new ones, essentially bringing in the same number of new maps when the map pool was smaller.
I feel like what I was fully expecting it to say, with regards to the number of old maps to keep, public polling favored a full rotation of 9 maps, but it was on Reddit, so that's why we decided not to go with it. So we decided to do the opposite.
I think this is a nice kind of this is a nice kind of a way to go about it, specifically bringing up the fact that yes, a full rotation change did win voting, but not by a large margin. So taking into consideration that there were
and with the voter participation as well, it's like I will say this: I do feel like the poll itself wasn't really advertised that much outside of Reddit, and obviously Reddit makes up is just one segment of the overall StarCraft 2 community. So it's most likely that not everybody, and most definitely not enough people were able to vote in that.
Yeah, well, it's also
so
it's also one of those things that we did mention how I think a lot of people's opinions actually was predicated on how often there would be a new map pool rotation. If it was going to be an annual thing, that I think a lot of people were like, yeah, let's get a new one. If it's going to be more regular, then we can keep older maps. But I do think that's about to be discussed and touched on here by Wax. So Ley Lines was by far the most played tournament map from the previous map pool, and also had reasonably balanced win rates and play rates across the 3 factions. Among the remaining maps, Ultra Love had the next best overall balance numbers, whilst some maps had a similar number of total games played as Ultra Love. Their win rate and play rate numbers were skewed towards specific factions. The final part here, future.
I was just going to say, giving a little bit of a explanation as to why we're taking those 2 maps, not just for balance, but also the popularity of it.
For sure. Last bit here about future map rotations. We'll be taking a more long-term view going forward, communicating with Blizzard, players, organizers, map makers, and other stakeholders to try and find a more systematic and permanent framework for map rotations for both 1v1 and team modes. So I know some people were asking about 2v2s and 3v3s, so that was included. An eventual goal of ours is to have a semi-automatic seasonal rotation system that requires minimal outside input. Map makers have certainly submitted enough ladder quality maps to form the foundation. In the meanwhile, we are welcoming organizations to keep trying out maps from outside the official map pool that fit their competitive needs. There's no inherent reason that competitive StarCraft 2 should be constricted to 9 maps, and we've enjoyed seeing the variety of maps used in the past few months. We hope you enjoy the new maps, and let us know what you want from StarCraft 2 maps moving forward.
That's interesting, and also kind of excites me quite a bit. So obviously the way that this is phrased, specifically I'm talking about the segment that says there's no inherent reason why competitive StarCraft 2 should be restricted to 9 maps. The way that's phrased, it makes me think that, okay, for ladder specifically, it is going to still be 9 maps, but you know, maybe for tournaments, more tournaments might want to implement more of an OSC system, right? Where you have, your ladder maps, but then you also have 3 maps that community members vote on, or some of them might even go even wilder with that and say, hey, here's a whole bunch of different maps from way back when. Here's our all-star map where we have the best map from every year of StarCraft 2.
Yeah, it's especially because the current environment in StarCraft is it's now very different. What I mean by that is during the off season, because we were stuck with a very controversial map pool, we took it upon ourselves. I say we, a lot of tournament organizers did in unison decide to step in and make changes. And we all had our own varying different changes, I will say. For us, for the CranKy Ducklings, we limited our extra maps to TLMC 20 maps. Like that, we just added some TLMC 20 maps to our current ladder map pool. Meanwhile, some of the other tournaments, like the Pig Store Monday, for example, actually added maps that weren't a part of TLMC 20. I know that Patches was involved when it comes to consulting which maps, and some of them were his own. So they added maps like Hellscape, they added maps like Talisman as well, so some older TLMC maps. Likewise, I'm pretty sure the Monday Night Weeklies, they did the same thing, where they also added their own other maps, not just TLMC 20 maps, but again, some other older TLMC 17, 18 maps as well. So all these tournaments went their own kind of different way. Some of it had a bit of cohesion, some of it not. But we had to, because we were stuck in this kind of realm of limbo where the current map pool was not sufficient for our needs. Now we have a new map pool. We're probably all going to switch over, but in time, some of these tournaments might still keep some of those older maps that they really liked. Like, it's possible. Like, we're not restricted to only using the ladder maps that I'm getting at.
Exactly.
Not anymore.
So one day,
like Pandora's box has been opened. It feels. If you get what I mean.
So one day we're gonna finally have Overgrowth again.
No.
Dusk Towers.
Not like this. Not like this.
And Orbital Junkyard.
Not at all. So yeah, like it feels like a lot of online tournaments have
maps ever created.
Because a lot of the online tournaments have now already been forced to use maps that weren't a part of the ladder map pool. Now there's a higher chance that it'll happen again, right? There's a higher chance that if they want to, they can like reach out and then start incorporating some of these other maps into the map pool instead. I don't think that'll happen yet, but it's possible that might be like a more regular occurrence.
Yeah. And this is just a starting point, right? We'll loop back and see how far we've come next year when it comes to this element of which tournaments feature which maps.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I mean, I guess we kind of had that previously, if you remember, right? Where it was not uncommon for GSL to have their own GSL tournament map pool that was completely separate from the ladder map pool, right?
Yeah, and then after a while, Blizzard will look at the GSL maps and be like, "Oh, why don't we implement what was it called, Darkest something?"
Darkness Sanctuary.
Darkness Sanctuary, that's what it was. And then it was way too dark.
It was very dark. Oblivion is the other one that comes to mind. Oblivion was another map. But yes, that's definitely going to be an interesting thing moving forward when it comes to at least the tournament organization side of things. Another thing that was touched on here, of course, is I'm curious how. I mean, one, it does bode well. It does sound like Wax and the team working with him, they want to have more regular map pools. It does sound like that wants to be a thing. I'm curious how they're going to automate it, though. I'm curious, like, what kind of criteria they're going to have to, like, rotate in and rotate out maps. Like, because I'm not entirely certain as to how that would function too well.
That's a pretty good question. And with how they phrase it right now, it looks like they are just, kind of leaving that open to... Yeah, just kind of leaving that open right now, but we'll see. It sounds like they're going to be looking at older maps as well moving forward. And when I say older maps, not just older ladder maps, but also older TLMC maps or stuff like that have already been made public, I should say. But again, not too much detail as to what that process entails and what the decision making behind that process will entail.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think Maganatha is an example, and I want to say maybe Pylon or one of these other maps was actually made like years ago, but like resubmitted, showing that there's some maps from TLMC 19, 18, 17 that didn't make it into the ladder map pool, but are solid maps nonetheless, and maybe even worth becoming a part of the map pool. So there's, as Wax mentioned, like there is a really large library of maps that just never got used, and some of them are probably worth bringing up and worth dusting off and actually incorporating into a map pool at some point.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll get more details by the end of the season.
Yeah.
When it comes to EWC.
When it comes to like the automation of this, I would imagine that maybe he's alluding to like maybe every TLMC they'll have like those polls, right? Like the pro player poll, the map maker poll, and maybe like the community poll as well. And like they'll just automate as in those top maps. They'll just send them in. They'll just send them in and they'll have that kind of criteria for map rotations.
He did say semi-auto, so
there's
still going to be a little bit of manual input.
No, yeah, of course. But yeah, so we'll see how that finalizes. But overall, I appreciate that, Wax, he actually made this post and made his thoughts public, and also gave a
It's a
little
bit
bit
more
insight as to,
transparent, yeah.
yeah, very transparent with how things are going, and I appreciate it for sure.
Yeah, something that we definitely lacked a lot of during both the ESL and the Blizzard eras. So I appreciate this too.
Oh yeah, for sure. So with that,
yeah, and as always, whenever we have a new map pool, Wall-Off Guide has been published by Gemini. So yeah, Protoss players, it's already out. Familiarize yourselves. You don't need a door.
There you go. No door required. So big shout out to Gemini again. He is a gem for the Protoss side of the community because he's always there with his wall-off guides to help out Protoss players on the ladder when it comes to how to wall off, what to wall off, and who to wall off.
Yeah. And how. No, wait, you already
why.
said how. And yeah, and when.
Mm-hmm. And what.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And who. No, you already said who. Whoomst.
Uh-huh.
There we go.
Yeah, so shout out to Gemini, and again, do check out his wall-off guide. If you are maybe having some difficulties when it comes to walling up and walling off, Gemini, he's got your back.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that will lead us to here. Oh, right. I also wanted to quickly touch on something regarding the ladder map pool. So it feels like we have solved that issue and solved that problem. I guess the next thing that is on the horizon here, patching. Do you think? Oh, I didn't even know this is a do you think question, but like, we still don't know, right? We're still in the dark when it comes to patching
the answer is
game.
I don't think. I never think.
The next question becomes, all right, so we have the answer to the question that is, okay, are we going to be able to get some new map rotations now that Blizzard is hands off, now that ESL is hands off? Well, TLMC is hands on, right? Now we have a way to bring together new and consistent map rotations. This is a good thing. This is really, really good news. Next thing, patches, right? We mentioned before how there is still that balance council. They still, I'm sure, are discussing and talking about what changes to make, but will they have the capacity to actually get in contact with Blizzard and push these changes through? Or are things going to go the way of Brood War in the sense where we have to rely on balancing the game via maps as well? Like, is that going to be the only changes that we're going to be having? Is the game state going to... Is this the game state that we're going to be stuck with? Are we going to be able to patch it? Are we going to be able to push through those changes? Like, that's kind of the next big thing that the community is going to be asking coming into end of 2025, like post-EWC.
Yeah, absolutely. That's still something that we're very much in the dark with. I have to imagine that with the groundwork being laid here with when it comes to the map pools and the future map pools as well, I would imagine that this is kind of the community kind of laying a little bit of groundwork with Blizzard for future patches and future balance patches as well. But again, that's very much dependent on how hands-on Blizzard wants to be when it comes to this, because it's pretty easy to send a list to Blizzard and say, these are the maps that we want on the map pool. It's a little bit harder and it requires a little bit more justification and a little bit more work to say, we want you to change these units in these ways.
Yeah, 100%, right? Like, there's a lot more, just a lot more finesse that has to go into implementing these changes. And on top of that, the problem with whenever a patch like that happens, there's probably going to be bugs. So there has to be a follow-up bug fix patch as well. There has to be someone that can step in and actually resolve any issues that are created and any issues that are formed. I mean, we've already had to go through that, but there are times where like maybe there's like a week-long period where that has to be done. And I don't know if there's people in the community can step up and take that role.
Yeah, I think the intern has probably graduated by now.
potentially.
So still there.
Yeah. So that's still up in the air. I don't feel like I can strongly say one way or another whether we won't get any patches or there will be. I'm fairly optimistic, though, as you mentioned, that clearly there are communications between
they're building bridges.
The community. Yeah, exactly. Bridges are being built. There's communication between Blizzard and community members when it comes to updating the game in some way, so that can maybe be extended to patching the game on maybe like an annual basis as well. That's still yet to be determined. Personally, I would love to see a patch before EWC. but we're closing in. We're closing in on EWC.
Yeah, I mean, I would be excited for that as well, but then there's also the other part of my head that's like, how messed up is it now that we have Blizzard basically outsourcing, these things to members of the community who are basically volunteering.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I mean, well, that's the role we have to take now when it comes to StarCraft 2 esports.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Not ideal, but if we want the scene to continue, that's what we have to do.
Yeah, exactly. And we have to be ready to step into that role and fill those shoes to continue StarCraft as it is, and even look to push it further in the upcoming years as well. So yeah, overall good news when it comes to the map pool. Overall still ambiguous when it comes to future patches. Time will tell what happens when it comes to that. But for now, it's time for some tournament results.
Indeed, and oh boy, we got quite a few this week. A couple of pretty surprising runs, but as always, we begin with SEL King of the Hill. Björn having a pretty good run this week.
Oh yeah, here we go. We have StarCraft Evolution King of the Hill number 4, and Björn, he did go on a tear. He was able to win 5 matches in a row. I should also emphasize, of course, this is StarCraft Evolution. This is a blending. This is a mod between Brood War and StarCraft 2, bringing these factions together and having them face off against each other as well. It is a mod that we do cast quite often here on the channel. This event we also did cover on the channel as well. And Björn has been on fire. He's been on point. He's been looking terrifying in StarCraft Evolution.
Oh, yeah. And we'll see this trend continue a little bit throughout our SC Evolution recaps of this week.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you were saying, Björn going on a tear when it comes to TVP, even beats Han Mono in the TVT, but not quite able to beat 3-Point when it was SC2 Zerg versus Brood War Terran.
Yes, 3-Point. He had a very strong response to Björn. We've been talking about this a lot when it comes to the patches of StarCraft Evolution. But Björn, he basically every single game he went 3x him. He was playing Brood War Terran, and he was just tearing through all these Protoss and Terran players. 3-Point had a really good response. He did have a more safe Roach opener against it, and then he turned that into an all-in. He was able to punish and break Björn, and he was the answer to the problem. That was Björn.
Yeah.
For a time.
It's that easy, yeah. Just make roaches.
Yeah. And it worked. He took down Björn, took down Prone, but he did go down to Star out of left field. Taiwanese Protoss player. He was revived as he was knocked out earlier in the tournament. Able to take 2 wins, and in the end, Greener did cheese the hell out of Star. It was a very short game. Was able to rush him and able to claim that final win towards the end of the night.
GG. Nicely done by our players.
Yeah, GG, well played. Also, a big shout out to Luna C in the chat. Gab, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Annyeong haseyo. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you guys had a great stream, a great ladder session, and welcome to the PondCast.
Yeah, welcome. Annyeong, as always. I forgot what thank you is. It's like I can remember this. Well, you already said it. Gamsa.
Oh, so nice. But yeah, so just going
similar if you think about it. Annyeong and Gamsa.
Kamsahamnida, but sure.
They sound similar, yeah. Well, Annyeong Haseyo and Kamsahamnida. They sound similar.
Sure. It's almost like they're from the same language. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. Sorry, we're just going over the news. We just wrapped up with all the topics, with all the news of the week, but now going over all the tournament results. So shout out to Björn for claiming the most amount of wins. I should also emphasize, unlike OSC King of the Hill, this is only 10 best of ones, not 15. So a little bit shorter here. But the player pool is a little bit smaller as well. Regardless, a lot of really good matches and definitely worth checking out.
Yeah. Check out the VOD.
For sure. That leads us into Kung Fu Cup 2025 weekly number 7 StarCraft Evolution edition. No Warcraft 3 unfortunately for this edition of the tournament. But we did feature a lot of Zergs, a lot of Terran players, and once again Björn popped off.
Yeah, getting his revenge on 3-Point, taking him down 3-0 in those grand finals. Now obviously Kung Fu Cup Evolution does have a little bit of a different format where we do have fixed matches of which player is going Brood War versus SC2 and which player is going SC2 versus Brood War. And we even had Brood War versus Brood War here in the case of our grand finals. So yeah, that 3 racks build versus That 3-Rex build versus Brute War Zerg, brutal. No roaches to save you.
No roaches. On top of that, this tournament was crazy, by the way. I don't know if you noticed something. So what I love about Kung Fu Cup, they do have a unique format. That is true. They have a unique format where you can have Brutal versus Brutal and SC2 versus SC2 in the best of 5. So it is not the standard StarCraft Evolution League format. They do force you to alternate. But we actually briefly spoke about this when it comes to StarCraft 2 and how tournaments have their own unique map pools. Likewise, Kung Fu Cup, they have their own unique maps as well. Some are shared between tournaments, but they have added others. Two of them, Lost Temple and Fighting Spirit. Some very old maps that are not featured in StarCraft Evolution League, but featured here in Kung Fu Cup.
I was wondering where I heard Lost Temple before, and that's an old school. That's an old school map.
Oh yeah,
Brutal map, yeah.
Yeah. An old school brutal map. Fighting Spirit as well.
2009 ish.
Oh yeah, very very old school. And not balanced.
It wasn't balanced back then for Brute War. It definitely is not balanced for SC Evo.
You can look at it on Wikipedia. Lost Temple. If you look at Lost Temple,
it's 4-player map.
It's a 4-player spawn map, but instead of in the corners, it's like
right
some
next
of them.
to each other.
Some of them, depending on the RNG, you can spawn right next to each other. Fun fact: bottom left, those two spawn locations are within the same screen. They're within the same screen.
They bottom left are actually closer together than top right.
They are. So
this is a 4-player map that is completely asymmetrical. I love it.
I had to count because we had bottom left spawn for 3-point versus Bjorn. Bjorn was playing SC2. He opened up Reaper. He scattered left. The Reaper took 10 seconds to get to the main of 3-point. It was just 3-point. He had nothing to defend against the Reaper. You have to understand this. He was dying to the first Reaper. Man. It was crazy. And Bjorn just went for like a 2-on-1 variation. It's, I think 2x stream time or 3x stream timing. And again, it took so little time for the army to get to the other side. Likewise, we also featured Bjorn top right spawns as well. That's also if both players spawn in top right, also very short. It's longer than bottom left, but still very short nonetheless. This was disgusting.
Beautiful. Okay, tournament organizers, since we're opening up possibilities of not just the same inherent 9 maps from the ladder. Consider Lost Temple.
I think Lost Temple would be fine if it was forced cross spawn locations, like not to spawn right next to each other. It's RNG, of course. It's RNG because it's 4-player, but both times they spawned in right next to each other, and it was brutal. Just how aggressive you could be, and how difficult it could be as well to even expand. I didn't get to talk about it, but some of these all the natural bases, there's high ground that's covering the mineral line. So you can tank drop on the high ground and you can cover the natural. It's crazy. It was entertaining. It was a very entertaining, but very short and very crazy games. It was a great tournament. It's great.
Yeah, I love to see it, or at least I do.
For sure. We also featured Fighting Spirit. Fighting Spirit is more sane. It's a more standard, 4-player spawn map. You have more room between each other. So Fighting Spirit is an actual map.
More symmetrical,
Yeah, exactly.
Just a bit more. It actually is symmetrical.
It is. So definitely a lot of fun games regardless. Still close by ground, and the third base is also very isolated from your natural, so still some quirky features to it, but
especially if you both spawn vertically by the looks of things. I think if you both spawn horizontally, it loops around a bit, but vertically it's one straight line.
Yeah, for sure. So that is a factor that comes into play, and we saw a lot of aggression. But it was, I appreciate it though, because again, Kung Fu Cup, it doesn't just have a unique format; it shows off some unique maps. Maybe not the most balanced maps. I think I said this last time. Unlike some of the other tournaments out there that only feature one island map, they feature both Neo Isles of Siren and Paradox. There's 2 island maps and Monty Hall as well in this tournament map pool. It's crazy.
So that's 2.5 island maps. Yeah.
Pretty much. So it's a blast. It's a blast. I appreciate it as a spectator, as a viewer, as a fan.
Yeah. Oh
it's
yeah.
Good. Yeah. Maybe the players don't like it as much. But.
Now I want to see Warcraft Evo on Lost Temple.
True. Jesus. mate, the Mountain King rush would be crazy. But yeah, congratulations to Bjorn for becoming the champion. And again, crazy map pool. I do recommend the VODs, featuring some maybe not the most balanced maps out there. I do recommend the VODs nonetheless. Leads us into the SEL StarCraft Evolution League Code A number 2. This is a tournament that is restricted to players that have not placed too highly in these big events like GSL, like DreamHack Masters. It is for players that are just below the top of the top, the best of the best, to kind of foster growth in the scene.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Foster up-and-coming talent. It's kind of like a similar regard to OSC Rising Stars in a way, but this one is a little bit more, I don't want to say a bit more strict, but this one definitely has, it's a bit more stringent with what you can or cannot have qualified for in the past, which is also definitely still appreciated.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, right now, StarCraft Evolution League is dominated by the best of the best, right? The top pro players. And there are a lot of competitors out there that want to take part, but maybe are a little bit disincentivized. Maybe they want to have a more competitive format or competitive environment. So that is what StarCraft Evolution League Code 8 is for. When it comes to this event, we did have a Prome coming in and claiming that win, taking down Greenert, Gunner, and Mang Russell in the finals. Very dominant performance by Prome. Very dominant.
I see. That's how it's pronounced. Okay.
What are you gonna say?
I actually wasn't too sure. I was torn between Mangrusil or Mang Russell. Those were the two I was like most torn between. But there's a lot of different ways you could read that name.
Yeah, true.
Manji Russell.
I mean,
Russell?
at least. I appreciate that there's no. He didn't pull a Zodians with like a bunch of like lowercase and uppercase letters everywhere to make things more confusing. So I appreciate that at least. But yeah, so Mang Russell in the end he did make it to the finals, of course. Kot was the previous runner-up from the previous edition, and he made it to the semis. Kot hyper cheesy. Honestly, a lot of cheese, a lot of aggression in a lot of these matches with cannon rushes, with 12 pool drone pools, for example, from Kot. So hyper aggression, but in the end, Mang Russell did make it to the finals.
Yeah, did make it into the finals, but alas, was not quite able to beat Prome's both StarCraft 2 and Brute War Protoss.
Yes. Yeah, they did actually mix things up quite a bit. I will say that again there was a lot of aggression taking place, a lot of at times a bit of like RNG when it comes to scouting, not scouting, and being hyper aggressive. I do recommend it. Was definitely a fun finals, very intense finals as well. And congratulations to Prome for winning 2 editions in a row.
Yeah, GG. Nicely done. Taking out a Zerg player and a Terran player, so next week, who's the Protoss opponent?
Exactly. We need someone to step up and step in. So best of luck to all the competitors out there facing off against Prome in the next tournament. That leads us into our next big series. That leads us into the Enki Epic Series number 2. Yeah,
second edition, which, of course, naturally, since this is the second edition, you gotta feature Sue.
You gotta feature him, mate. This was a best of 9 StarCraft Evolution show match between Bjorn and Sue. Bjorn, of course, he has been on fire as of late. He was coming in as a favorite player. Sue, he is retired. I was quickly checking because we were covering this event this morning, actually. Sue, he has not competed in anything StarCraft related since December of last year. It's been almost 5 months because it was actually December 3rd. December 3rd was the last time he competed, so it's been a very, very, very long time since he has kind of been a part of StarCraft, but he did accept the invitation to the show match.
Yeah, it's definitely cool to see as well. Sue was another one of those players who was kind of up and coming back in Brute War before the somewhat abrupt switch into StarCraft 2. Sue definitely made a huge name for himself in SC2. He's one of, if not, he's absolutely one of the most beloved players, a huge fan favorite, and yeah, one who actually did get a lot of really good results, no matter what he himself may think.
Yeah, exactly. Like being that consistent and getting that many second places. And of course, the eventual IM Katowice win as well. Like Asu is a very accomplished player. He's a legend in StarCraft 2. Of course, again, he did retire, but he did come back for this show match. What I will say about this show match, one, Bjorn was coming as the heavy favorite. Su, it felt like he was a little bit, it felt like he was exploring a little bit. Didn't seem like he had too much experience with the mod and too much experience with the map specifically. Fun fact, when they played on Neo Isles of Siren, he was not fully aware that it was an island map. So, so that definitely came into
Lords, I imagine. Yeah.
So
he
he
researched it.
He did play Muta, of course, but definitely
was he Brute War or SC2 on that map?
Brood War.
I see.
So yeah. Regardless, it was really fun to see him nonetheless. In the end, Bjorn was the more dominant player here, but Suki was able to fight back, able to take a couple of games.
Yeah. Literally a couple. So we have the full hat trick here. There's the second edition. You have Su winning 2 games.
There you go. So hopefully, I mean, we'll see if we get more of Su in the future. I don't know if he intends to play in more show matches to step further into the ring in StarCraft Evolution. What I will say is that officially he is still retired, so do not see this and do not expect Su to like make a return to StarCraft 2 or make a full return to StarCraft Evolution. I think he was playing this more for fun, but it's possible that he might dip his toes back into the future. Time will tell.
Yeah, we'll stay tuned and we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. I just appreciate seeing Su once again for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
As that leads us into our next big event, that leads us into the StarCraft Evolution League number 10. This was a monthly, but now this has been changed to a fortnightly tournament. Every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks now we do have StarCraft Evolution League, and we just recently had our 10th edition.
Oh, an anniversary. Yeah, that's neat and pretty fitting for the 10th edition to give us, I believe, a new champion, but somebody who has been very, very active in StarCraft Evolution. Top or Kiwian actually beats out 3-2, takes the championship.
Yeah, Kiwian coming out of left field here. I mean, I know that he's a really good player, and he of course, he was a part of that streamer, like Chijik, VTuber show match as well, alongside Crank.
That's what we call it from now on.
Yeah, he was a part of that. But yeah, I know that he's a good player, but he's mainly casting, right? He's mainly casting, he's streaming, he's content creating, less so actually taking part in these tournaments. So it was really cool to see him take part and take place. And yeah, he had a really, really strong showing, showing that he's not just a caster, but he's still got it competing as well.
Yeah, being 3-Point, who I would say was the heavy favorite coming into this, and also being Dark, who I would say is the other favorite coming into this, if not for the fact that he played random this time.
Yes. He has been playing nothing but random in StarCraft Evolution. Again, Darky usually plays these events more for fun, right? More for just a little bit more laid back, less intense, less serious. Does enjoy random. Fun fact, despite playing random, he actually rolled Terran every game against Kiwian.
This also gives us confirmation. Dark survived April, not going to the military.
Yes. If you recall, we actually spoke about this last week. We spoke about it last week, but you weren't there for the tournament results. Dark, he did let us know last KSL that this upcoming Korean StarCraft League this weekend is going to be his final tournament. He let us know that.
Are we sure about that? I feel like he said that before.
He let us know that it was going to be his final one. He said that the previous KSL was going to be his final tournament, but Hero, he won the finals, and he's like, I can't let Hero finish with a win. I can't let this kid get away with it, man. I can't. Una más, papi, una más. Let's go.
And then he explained that to the military, and the military was like, I see.
Yeah, yes, I understand. Yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah.
But yes, we did announce last week that Dark, he said that KSL wasn't just going to be last KSL, it was going to be his last tournament period. Like that'll be his last tournament that he plays in, and is this weekend.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, just for some context. Meanwhile, yes, congratulations to Kiwian for winning the event at 3-2. 3-Point, of course, did have a strong run. I'll be honest, I was very impressed by Wayne. Like Wayne, he had a really surprising performance as well. I rarely get to cast some of these CIS players competing in StarCraft Evolution League. I have a hard time placing their skill, but Wayne, he definitely had a strong showing against 3-Point.
Yeah, it's been getting better and better, I feel. Probably one of, if not the best CIS player for StarCraft Evolution. Well, I say that, but Spirit. No, wait, I don't think Spirit is in CIS region. Is Poland CIS?
Not for these
Poland
events.
is
Not for
not
these.
in CIS.
Yeah.
There we go.
But regardless, congratulations to Kiwian for claiming that win. And we'll see if he's able to take another and if he becomes more of a regular competitor. Again, usually he's casting these events, but this time decided to play.
Yeah. So stay tuned.
He's showing it's because there was no Bjorn. There had to be like a Terran in the tournament.
True, in the finals, yeah.
There you go. But that leads us into the Amateur League weekly tournaments. Again, this is a regular, event here that is categorized between different leagues and different MMR ranges. So there are different versions of this depending on the range or depending on the league that you are in. Up first, we have the Initiate Weekly, which does include players from Bronze to Platinum.
I forgot it's on challenge. I have to open all that, but yeah.
Yeah, from Bronze to Balance. So Amateur Weekly number 124. With this, we have some regulars that we do recognize. Ragnar, who I believe is even in the chat, actually claiming the win here. Did go down to the lower brackets, but did get his revenge over, or actually did take down Tebs once again, and did take down Decker, a Terran player, in a 3-2 score.
GG. So you got to get knocked down in order to climb back up again.
Exactly.
Solar method.
Yes. Exactly. So impressive, very impressive stuff there. Impressive comeback there by Ragnar. So congratulations, well played. Claiming that win in the end against Decker. That leads us into the Veteran Amateur League Weekly for the leagues between Diamond 3 and Diamond 2.
Yeah, trying to keep a lookout for familiar names. I know Pretty Fly is in there, but yeah, did get knocked out by Taldarim 666. I was confused as to whether or not there were two L's in there, so I wasn't sure. Is that Taldarim or is that Tall Darim? Because the D was also capitalized. But no, it is Taldarim who ended up making it all the way to the grand finals, but did get knocked out by a Terran player by the name of Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren in the end did claim the entire win, taking down a Pretty Fly, Old Lady, and Taldarim in the finals. So impressive performance there by Lauren. I do appreciate that did drop maps in the process. There were other competitors that were able to threaten Lauren. And then Lauren does claim the win.
GG.
And that leads us into the Prestige weekly event.
That we do. This one is the Diamond 1 to Masters 2 edition, and once again, a lot of familiar faces. I see Beast, I see Dizzy Dwarf, I see Ares, who did go all the way to win the whole thing, but had a pretty tough finals opponent in the form of Steez, not to be confused with Steel.
Oh, yeah, exactly. We had Steez stepping into the ring here. Actually went down to Dizzy Dwarf in the third round, but then was able to get actually a walkover. Oh, Dizzy Dwarf, yeah, looks like unfortunately was unavailable to take part in that third place match, and as a result, Steez was able to make it to those finals, had a very intense finals, went all the way to the ace match, but in the end, Ares did claim it.
GG. Brazilian boy, getting up there.
Exactly. It does claim it in the end. That leads us into the Elites edition here of the Amateur League Weekly for those between the leagues of Masters 1 and GM.
Yeah, they typically won with the least participation, but still very intense nonetheless. This week, no patches, which is something I took a note of.
Yeah, no patches this time, unfortunately. But we had Don Minoko, we had Swarmonix, we had Mr. Crimson, and SW Pro. In the end, we had Swarm Onomics even actually come back from the lower brackets. Did get knocked down earlier by SW Pro, but was able to fight his way back up.
Yeah, even getting his revenge in those lower bracket finals. So GG.
GG will play. Shout out to Swarmonomics for that win in the end. Again, these are more amateur events, so if you happen to be, within any of these league ranges, if you want to compete, if you want to play, then you can sign up for these tournaments. They are hosted on a regular basis.
Yeah, just about every week.
There you go. Up next, we have the Chat Star League number 36.
Indeed, we do. So I forgot to open.
It's all good. But yes, we do have another one of these semi-regular tournaments. This is organized by Platinum Esports / Platinum Heroes. And with this event, we did have our round of 8. We had our quarterfinals take place. We had some of our regulars here. We saw Cobblestone, Rake, Mini Zerg, UA, Hackers Top, Gref, Lulis, Nihed, and Defi. In the end, Mini Zerg UA did barely claim the win over Gref in the finals. We had an all-Ukrainian finals.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool to see. I was gonna say we actually had more random players than Zerg players, but no, that's not true. We did have a Zerg player make it all the way to the finals and win the whole thing. Just not in the notable participants tab.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I feel like that earns you a spot in the notable participants there, but I mean I know that's not how it works, but
I mean, with more wins, then they become notable, right?
True,
then you'll be able to get to that Wikipedia page. You can be like Yaku, who has a Wikipedia
exactly.
page. So, congratulations to Mini Zerg.
I still need to update that, but
shout out to Mini Zerg UA for, of course, claiming the win here. I've noticed Mini Zerg becoming more regular when it comes to online open cups, so looking forward to seeing more of Mini Zerg in the future. Gref is not an easy opponent. Gref, for those who don't know, he's a notorious cannon rusher, and he's hyper cheesy, so congratulations to Mini Zerg for surviving that cheese.
Yeah. All you gotta do is survive, so.
Survive.
That's the objective.
Up next, that leads us into the Patches 6K Open number 7.
Yeah, number 7. I thought you were going to say something after that.
Yeah, I thought I was going to say something after that as well, yeah.
But yeah, it is number 7, and it was won by Art, who, of course, we have a grand finals between Art and Fiant. With Art winning the whole thing.
Yo, look at this. Art, he came back from the brink. He got taken up by Lorimbo, papi. He's back. Lorimbo. He's there.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Lorimbo, unfortunately, wasn't able to fully nail down that coffin because Art, he did get his revenge on Lorimbo in those lower bracket semis.
Yeah. Crazy. I mean, I'm just impressed that Lorimbo took him down to begin with, but like, I mean, I feel like that's one of those losses that you take to heart, and I'm pretty sure that angered Art. Like that.
Exactly. That's what fueled him to win the whole damn thing.
100%.
Like, he did drop a single map after losing to Lorimbo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not even in the finals, mate. Like, it's one of those things where you lose to Lorimbo, you can't let that stand. No shot. No. Oh god. So I'm sure Art has Lorimbo to thank when it comes to his tournament win here. Congratulations. Great to see some of these other competitors as well. Some that are a little bit more rare to see. Sebestes, Fiant, Mixu, Green Earth, Gunner. Really solid lineup here. And again, congratulations to Art once again for claiming that win.
Yeah. And congratulations to Lorimbo for being the only one to be able to beat Art in this tournament.
True. True. The only one. Speaking of Lorimbo, that leads us into the All Things Pro Team League Circuit 2025 Spring Split. Lorimbo, of course, he is a part of this league, a part of this team league, I should say, as week 4 has just wrapped up. And we already have some teams being knocked out of the event.
Yeah, the Goobers, or Return of the Goobers, and Only Cannons are confirmed out. We do have one more round of the group stage left, but there just isn't any possible way for either of those teams to make it out of their respective groups. And yeah, now we're pretty much fighting for... And while it's not confirmed with the top teams either, I do feel like we are pretty much fighting for 3rd and 2nd place at this point. It's possible for Monkey Magic to beat Viet Cong, I suppose, and possible for Formage to beat Smurf Time, but I do think that those two teams are favored.
Yeah, they're going to be favored coming into the playoffs and coming out of the group stage. When it comes to results, week 4 did conclude. We have the Goobers taking down Smurf Time 4-2. I believe that was the one win that the Goobers did get. We did have Enpo and Lilypad going 1-1. We had Sebesta taking down Lulis 2-0, and we had Takua and Stonester likewise 1-1 as well.
Yeah. And you already mentioned Sebes being out Lulus, but yeah, that in a way was kind of tiebreaker. And after that, we had Cinq Formage, or Cinq Formage, beating Blinken Duck Templar. Yes, that's what it was. In a very, very close series, you have Deadly Kitten beating Bonan 2-0, Baby Marine beating Magnaf 2-0, and then Revo and Shemitz going 1-1. But in the end, Baby Marine did come out once again to defeat Magnaf in that tiebreaker.
Yeah, very impressive. Bearing in mind that a lot of the top pro players are off racing. If their MMR is of a certain capacity, I believe they have agreed to off race. So we had Babe Marine playing Protoss, we had Bonan playing Zerg to kind of like balance some things out.
Yeah. And in the end, still able to win. So that's good on them. And then the final match for week 4 for Group A, of course, we also have Group B to go over, was between Gooners and Probably Overslept. It's the Gooners, right? Yeah, Gooners versus Probably Overslept. We have Jackie beating your bro Chris, Heaven and Bjolmioja going 1-1, and then Inflatable Thor and Tixt going 1-1 as well. So yeah, that 2-0 from Jackie. That's what really put Overslept over the edge.
I believe that's pronounced Inflatable Thor.
Then you would be wrong. You are wrong.
You
and this player themselves are wrong. It's Inflatable Thor.
There you go. That's quite a name. So congratulations to Overslept for taking the win. As you mentioned, that did wrap up Group A. And unfortunately, the Goobers will not be able to make it through the group stage. I still have my heart out for the Gooners, though. And also for Secret Fromaji for making it through. We'll see if they can.
Obviously.
That leads us over into Group B with Baguette. We had the Baguette Crusaders taking down Only Cannons in a very strong 5-1 scoreline.
Once again, I say, oof, we have New Horizons taking out Adamin, not to be confused with the admin of the event, but Adamin, 2-0, Cobblestone and Rake going 1-1, and then Ardent taking a 2-0 win over Zarila to just doubly secure the victory.
Yeah, so strong performance there. That was also the series that did confirm that Only Cannons would not make it out of the group stage. That leads us into our next series. That leads us into the Viet Cong versus No Monkey Magic. Viet Cong did take them down 4-2.
Yeah, strong showing here by Viet Cong. Din Common, and Cognite going 1-1. Anticore going 2-0 against Nihead. And then Ibire going 1-1 against Agma as well.
So GG well played. Shout out to Viet Cong for claiming those wins. Leads us into the final series here. That was a series between the Feline Beyond Cocoon's End up against Team Forced Off Race.
These names, man. Yeah, we do have Patches taking out Mirage 2-0, Danielo taking out Nisho 2-0, Angraf fighting back for Feline, taking out Echo Soldier 2-0, but yeah, by that point, it was too late.
Yeah, but then it was too late, and with that, those are this week's results coming in. Again, we have a final week of the group stage left.
Yeah, to really determine who advances to the playoffs and who doesn't. We also, well, I guess before the playoffs, we also have our deciding matches, if necessary, to see who gets seeded where. But yeah, that's something to definitely look forward to. We will have that conclusion by next podcast. I have to say as well, as somebody who now has experience naming a team, I feel like I doubly appreciate the efforts here by all our players. Yeah, there are no good Griffins gaming team gaming esports, not esports.gg.nori, but they're pretty good.
I'd say they're better. God damn it. God damn it. Shaking my head, Yaku, shaking my head. But best of luck to all the
I'm
final
provide
teams.
no context for that.
Exactly. It's a deep cut. It's a deep cut. Shout out to all the teams, of course, and best of luck when it comes to their final week of group stage. You know what's crazy to me, Yaku, is that we've had such a massive team league here with all of these rounds in the group stage into deciding matches into playoffs. And this all might finish before OC Rising Star. Just saying.
Yep.
God damn it. But yes, best of luck. Again, these are all covered and casted on Gemini's channel, GGE Mini, if you will. So do check it out there. Do support his channel. A lot of high quality memes are had.
Does that mean Lorimbo's not casting with him this time?
I think he does come on as a guest caster every now and then.
There we go. That's all we need.
He usually brings on like the team captains and has them like banter and this content is had. Content is had. It's good.
Yeah.
That leads us into now our big major events here. That leads us into our regional events, I should say. Up first is Viger Cup number 9.
Yeah, our monthly big CIS tournament. And this week, once again, or I say once again, and that's technically true, but I do think that he has underperformed a little bit in the last few couple. So it was very good to see Wayne coming out on top once again, taking the championship in a very strong showing.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things coming into this. So for those that are curious, Viger Cup is a monthly tournament. Every single month we have Viger Cup. Shout out to MinoVK, of course, for hosting, for organizing, and for casting the event as well, for allowing us to jump in as being the English casters for said event. And it was last Viger Cup where Strange had a dominant showing. Strange, he popped off and he did claim the win. Wayne came in as the runner-up. Wayne came in second place. And I was so shocked by Strange. I don't know if you see this. If you bring up Viger Cup number 8, Strange, he lost one map in the playoffs. Like that's how dominant Strange was last month. It was disgusting. Like how good Strange was performing, going for almost purely all-ins, by the way. But and I was expecting like a rematch. I was expecting a rematch between Strange and Wayne. I was looking forward to it, but they actually never played in this tournament because someone stepped in his way and someone else was able to knock Strange out of the playoff bracket.
Indeed, young Yakov did take out Strange in the upper bracket semifinals, and then Strange did end up getting knocked out, eliminated by Milky Cow in the lower bracket.
Oh yeah, and I can guarantee you that Wayne, he was shaking in his boots, and he was so he was like that good papi. He was so thankful that he did not have to play Strange at all this tournament. They avoided each other in the group stage and they avoided each other in the playoffs, so there was never a rematch between Wayne and Strange. Young Yakov and Milky Cow, they were able to take care of him in the end.
Yeah, checks in the mail.
Exactly. And Wayne instead, he had the more dominant showing. Wayne took down Nickrak 2-0, UD Soldier 2-0, he took down Young Yakov 3-0. And fun fact, in the finals, there was actually a lot of off racing. If you do click within that series, we had actually both players switching and mixing and matching between Protoss.
Yeah, the majority of the games actually involved an off race. So it was literally only the last game where it was CVZ.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of PvZ in those finals. They definitely had fun with it, of course. And congratulations to Wayne, I should say, for coming out on top here. And yeah, it's been really cool to see the resurgence of Wayne. As you mentioned, like Wayne, he has been underperforming over the past couple of months. He's been less active. But in recent times, we've seen him performing well here. We also saw him performing well in StarCraft Evolution League as well. So he's been back on that grind.
Yeah, very impressive to see for sure.
Yeah, impressive indeed. That leads us into something that I had no idea about, by the way. That leads us into the Strawberry Bouts number 3, Finest Tuning Edition.
Yeah, and if that name sounds familiar, it's because I'm pretty sure it's a play on the Basilisk Big Brain Bouts, because it is pretty much the same format here where, well, I say same format, not really. It's 3 show matches, but it's not 6 participants, it's 3 participants. So yeah, it's kind of a round robin format, but every match is a best of 9 from what I can see. from what I can understand. So
Yeah.
yeah, and they're all treated as their own separate matches.
What are these maps? They're playing on Prion Terraces. They're playing on Night Odyssey.
Yeah, Odyssey and Prion Terraces. Battle of the Boardwalk. You
Battle
love
of
to see it.
Hey, I've got some PTSD of Battle of the Boardwalk.
I am so glad to see Odyssey back.
Man, Odyssey, that is a
I love
classic
Odyssey.
map.
That's a
Yeah,
great map,
yeah.
One of the earliest Legacy of the Void maps. Yeah.
It's also one of those maps that was around for a very long time as well, but definitely made it left its mark. It left its mark in Legacy or in StarCraft. So really cool to see Odyssey once again. I think Odyssey was around when we first started Sea Ducking Open. I want to say
it was. I remember that this was the map where I learned how to 3-Rex Reaper on.
Let's go. Good.
I would always reserve that build for Odyssey.
Yeah. It's so much nostalgia when it comes to looking at Odyssey. I do miss it dearly. There's a lot of fond memories. So many. It was made by Avex as well. Let's go. Yeah.
Avex, man. He knows how to make maps.
He does know. So yeah, shout out to those working behind the scenes, Shiny Ray, as well as Centric Coret, working behind the scenes of the Strawberry Bouts. I had no idea this event was a thing. But regardless, really cool to see some older maps coming into play, and of course some modern maps as well. Really cool to see.
Yeah, you want to know a fun fact? This is the 3rd edition, and it's called the Finest Tuning Edition. Strawberry Belts number 2 was just called Fine Tuning. Strawberry Belts number 1 didn't have they didn't tune anything there, so it didn't have a subtitle.
Should have been called Fine or something. It should
have been Fine, Finer, Finest.
There you go.
Finer tuning, yeah.
I appreciate the subtitles. I appreciate what they've got going on here, and I look forward to the memes coming up. Also, double checking. These aren't best of 9s. It's I think they just play 5 matches. Because if you look at number 2, there was a 4-1 score, right? But there was also a 3-2 score.
Oh, you mean the older editions? Yeah. I see.
So I'm assuming that
all matches are best of 5, all maps played. Yeah. You're right.
But yeah, regardless, congratulations, shout out to Cygnus for claiming the win in the end, and for Proto Xaver for coming in 2nd place with those score lines. A little bit of a one-sided series here with 5 zeros, but I hope the matches were good nonetheless.
Yeah, with these maps, it had to be, right?
True. That's true. God. Battle on the Boardwalk, mate. Fun fact, I say PTSD. I don't think I've ever played on Battle of the Boardwalk because I vetoed the hell out of it immediately. I don't think I've ever played on that map. But we have classes there.
What was it? The long way route, the backdoor entrance to the main that got you?
It's just a clown map. What do you mean?
Meanwhile, I specifically
that would have always been my go-to. I wouldn't clear the rocks, but I would drop. I would drop on that side of the rocks and then just slowly push up into the main from there.
You know, I specifically remember that Lumia had a cheese specifically for that map where he would float his barracks into the base.
Let's go. I mean, that is.
I remember
that is a big main. That is a big main. That is. Damn. That's a map. That's
good maps. It's good maps.
Let's hope the Wax doesn't add that to the next map pool. But
you just summoned him. You say that, and he's gonna have to now. He's obligated.
I know. Regardless, so congratulations to said winners. I look forward to seeing some future Strawberry tuning finally of some kind, and the next subtitle and the next set of maps that they introduce, because I'm sure they'll have a fresh new set next time.
What? How can they go from here with just subtitling?
Fine. What was the last one? Was it fine tuning?
Last one was fine tuning. Yeah, so I guess technically they could still go finer tuning, and then after that one they could do finester.
Or they could do final
tuning.
Yeah, and then they end it. That's the finale. Yeah, true.
Well, you say that, but there's been 10 final destinations, so
It's true. It's true.
Final two. Yeah, the subtitle final doesn't
How many
always mean
Final
final.
Fantasies? How many? How many?
16.
True.
Soon to be 17. Not including the spin-off games.
Tactics. Yeah.
Yeah. Tactics 2, Tactics Advance 2.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. Tactics Advance 2, that's still to this day the only one I've ever beat.
Good. That leads us into our next term. That leads us into the Legacy Weekly Japan 453 Prospect Edition. Bearing in mind that Prospect Edition does typically hinder or does not allow some of the other previous champions to come into play. Despite that, we did have someone that I'm not very familiar with. We had Kazumon making it to the finals.
Kazumon!
Kazumon!
Let's fucking go!
Who is that? Is that like Doraemon? Is that like Doraemon's like nemesis?
I was thinking of that, but apparently no. But there is a Kazemon, which is a Digimon.
That's Digimon, yeah. I think that's unrelated.
But I was who am I thinking of? Oh, I was thinking of Kumamon. Kumamon's like the black bear who is a mascot of.
I did not. I
was thinking of Kumamon, not yeah. Well,
I've never seen Kumamon before in my entire life. What am I?
You've never seen Kumamon?
Never.
Kumamon. He's a mascot of like one of the provinces of Japan.
Why would I know this creature?
He's also completely unhinged as well.
Okay.
They're like whack tourists who come out of the subway.
Do it. Whack
on
him.
the back of the head.
Oh, apparently he was in Yokai Watch.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Well, yes, this is not Kumamon. That is not this person. At all. But yeah, it did make it all the way to the finals in the end to go down to Sayark in that best of 3. But regardless, cool sight here, and I'm sure waiting to make his own legacy.
Represented the Kumamoto prefecture, I'm sure.
I don't believe so at all. I think that is unrelated. God damn it. Regardless, congratulations to Sayark for taking the win here, and that leads into our next event. That leads us into the Sunrise Cup 2025 Spring Qualifiers. Oh, okay. Qualifiers were held. 2 qualifiers, actually. Number 1 and number 2.
Oh, not just one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, qualifiers for the main event. In the first qualifier, we had a Lancer. Lancer, aka Cyan, did come out on top. Actually, even off racing a little bit in said qualifier, alongside someone that I'm very unfamiliar with, Lingyu.
Interesting. Ling Mi?
No.
Oh, okay.
Lingyu. Likewise, we also had Jollywa Loves making it through the second qualifier alongside another Zerg player from Solid Twinkle.
Something person. That final character, that's his person or man, I'm pretty sure.
Or Mon?
I'm pretty sure before that, it possibly Mon. I'm pretty sure before that, that's Huang, which is the character, which means yellow. So it's something yellow Mon. Pikachu.
So, according to Google Translate, it translates to keyboard poison milk.
Did I get yellow correct, at least?
Jianpan Modu Nai. I think that's how.
It looks like the character for yellow, but there's like a slight thing at the bottom.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So yeah.
Oh good.
Keyboard poison milk. Nice.
Yeah. So congratulations to our 4 players to make it into the main event. 4 players to make it through the qualifiers. Actually, scrolling over to the main event. The main event is actually taking place tonight, I think. it's right now, actually. Yeah, right now it's taking place. Yeah, as we speak, it is a 2-day event. So shout out to all the competitors here. Best of luck to all those taking place. We have Nanami, we have Ear, we have Oriana, we have Lancer, Miki, Jollywa Loves, and many others. So yeah, some tough competition coming into this. I would say that Lancer is going to be the heavy favorites, but regardless, best of luck to all the other competitors.
Definitely got the new team buff coming in from JD Gaming, JDG Esports. JD Gaming Esports. I forgot that.
Yeah.
I forgot that's part of the name.
They are the best team to join StarCraft in quite some time. Like it's, let's go. But I also wanted to add, actually, so Lancer, he's going to be, I would say, the favorite player. But don't forget, Silky is also there. Silky recently name changed to Chinese characters to Super. It's like Super Cat or something. Super Neko. Yeah, Super Neko. Yeah. I would imagine in favor of his team. But he's also going to be taking part. He's in the upper half of the bracket. Lancer's in the lower half.
Yeah. So that's our most likely finals by the looks of things. But hey, anyone can have an upset.
True. So best of luck. Best of luck to all those competitors taking place in the Sunrise Cup. That leads us into our next tournament. That leads us into the CranKy Pro Series number 4. This is not StarCraft Evolution. This is StarCraft 2. We had El Mexico edition. Let's go.
Yes, and we actually have a little bit of a story behind this. So this was somewhat partnered-ish with HSL. And if you'll recall from HSL, by the time the playoffs bracket was seeded, everybody was super hyped for Special versus Cham. That didn't happen in the end. It ended up being Special versus Vortex, yeah. And so because of that, or maybe not because of that, but at the very least, we will still have a Special versus Cham best of 9, and mate, it went the distance. It went all the way.
It did go the distance. As you mentioned, in HSL, Special, and Cham, they were the expected finalists. They were expected top 2 of the tournaments, but as you mentioned, they did not play. They did not compete. They did not play in those finals. Cham, who was knocked out in the semifinals. So instead, we have this beautiful best of 9 show match where they did face off. It went the distance, went all the way to game 9, and it did barely go Cham's way.
Just barely 5-4. Whew.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was intense. I think my favorite part about it, I don't know if you were able to tune into any of it. We did cover it this morning. But Special was doing like a different build every game. Like every game, we had 2 Rax Reaper, we had Rax Factory, we had Proxies, we had BC play, we had Hellbat all-ins, we had Mech, we had some Bio as well. Like Special, he was very diverse when it came to his build. Cham as well, he was also mixing it up, going into 2-Ace Muta, 2-Ace Swarm Host, Roach all-in, some more standard Ling Bane Muta as well. There was just very, very diverse between the 2 players. It was an amazing series, and if you missed it, I highly recommend checking out the VODs for Special versus Cham.
Oh man, that sounds incredible. I'll have to catch a VOD for this as well. Special channeling his inner TY in a little bit, in a way.
For sure. Like if you're out there, if you're a Terran player, if you're looking for builds, I do recommend checking out Special just because he has so much diverse play that you can like find something that you like to see and find something to latch onto. Do definitely recommend it. And coming into this, it was hard to call. I would have favored definitely Cham coming in into this just because Special was a little bit more out of practice. But despite that, it was still very close between the 2 of them, and it definitely could have gone Special's way as well, 100%. Like it was very close, very clutch.
Well played, as we say.
Well played. That leads us into our next big show match. That leads us into the Supers at 7, number 40.
Indeed, we do a little bit of a PVZ this time. Solar versus Zaun. Going the way of Solar, 4-2.
Oh, yeah. Does go the way of Solar, getting intense at best of 7. Solar does claim it in the end. Zaun has been having a little bit more issues with PVZ as of late. I know he's been a little bit vocal when it comes to some of his struggles that he's been having. But again, he did make a series out of it nonetheless. Still a very strong player in his own right. But a shout out to Solar. Again, he's still in that he's in that redemption arc. You know, he's
still climbing a little bit. Yeah.
On that rise.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be a while till he hits rock bottom again. He's still on that cloud 9. He's still on that high for a little bit longer. Okay, we're not taking that downward turn yet.
Yeah, I can see that. I also think it's fitting that Solar here beat Zaun just because it's the newest player of his former team, or the newest sign up for his former team here.
True.
So it felt like a little bit of a, what's it called? Not a skill check. Kind of a similar concept to a skill check where it's like, okay, Zaun, you want to take that spot that I left? Let's see how you earn it. And yeah, I think Zaun did pretty well here. I mean, he was up against Solar was favored anyway, and was at least able to make a bit of a series out of it. But I mean, there's a reason why we keep hyping up Solar these past couple of weeks.
For sure, for sure. Again, he has been in form more so than he has in a very long time. That leads us to our next set of show matches. That leads us into the Big Brain Bouts number 95. We have 4 show matches ready for us here. Do you see something that does tie them all together?
Cham. Kind of.
True. Yeah, we got some America's matches, right? With Brazil, America, and Mexico. True.
Yeah, true. Brazil, America, and Mexico. That's like the 3. Yeah, that's the only 3 in Americas.
Exactly.
A little bit of a NA versus EU, or well, Americas versus EU. Wait, no, because Lunacy is. Okay, look. We'll figure out what the theme is as we go along.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'll say that Jimmy, he's very NA, so I think that he can be adopted.
True. He is quite a degen, yeah.
He is. God damn it. But Chen takes down Lunacy 3-0. Strong showing there. Strong result by Chen. We see Deca takes down Inexorable 3-1 as well. Very impressive is what I will say. We haven't really seen much from Deca as of late, so a very impressive result. We had Epic taking down Mixu 3-1 before the main event took place. Spirit versus Jumi, also going the way of Spirit.
GG.
Yeah, some impressive results here is what I will say. I'm most impressed by, again, Deca's performance. I know that Jimmy has been very hot as of late. He's been getting some big wins and some big results. But it's great to see Spirit after a bit of a hiatus. Like I feel like we haven't really seen much from Spirit recently, so it's really cool to see him taking part in these show matches, especially with his recent pickup from RSC.
Yeah, really good showing with his new team because of that.
100%. So congratulations there to Spirits. And I guess I may as well bring this up as well. I don't think it has been publicly fully announced when it comes to my opponent, but I will be taking place in the next Big Brain Bouts. Number 96. Going to be a part of it. Let's go.
It's gonna be Fear Dragon. It has to be another caster.
It has to be. A Fear Dragon. I do not want to face Fear Dragon, mate. He is an animal on the. I played him on the ladder before, mate. He I don't want to get cannon rushed, mate. I don't he is an absolute animal on the ladder. He knows it as well. He knows it. He's like a shake of my head. God. But it'll soon be announced. When it comes to said matchup,
it's basically going to be announced right as we wrap up. Wrap up today's podcast. Yeah. It's without luck. That's how it's going to turn out.
But yeah, that's going to be tomorrow. The next big round is going to be tomorrow in just over 24 hours. So I will be taking it place. Oh, let's go.
Well, I'll be home by then.
I'm a little bit anxious. I'm a little bit nervous, especially because I didn't know what matchup was going to be until yesterday. So I ideally want to work on that matchup and figure out.
Are you allowed to say which matchup it is, or
ZVT,
or are you
ZVT.
NDA? ZVT. Okay, so it could still be Fear Dragon.
I guess it could be anyone, really. I guess. So look forward to that. Again, that'll be over on Rotterdam's channel. If I'm allowed to, I will stream my POV as well. And we'll get through it together. I'll show some good games for the fans. I hope to make a series out of it. I hope I'm able to show some good games. That's all I hope for.
Yeah. Is this is gonna be your first televised match in a long time, isn't it?
Yeah. When was the last time
competitive match in a long time?
Yeah, it's been years.
Probably what was it? Chobo Nation Wars, maybe, or
I didn't play
VTL.
Yeah.
It might have actually been VTL, yeah, for you.
I think it probably would have been VTL. Hold on, I'm double checking to see my Wikipedia. I don't remember this. Apparently, I played in the AEF Battle Down Under qualifier. That was back in 2019.
2019. VTL was before that. Yeah.
I don't even know what this event is. I'll be honest.
That was one of the lands. That was one of the lands that you went to, I believe.
Is this a land?
I think that was the land where you filmed Oreo.
That's what it's called. How did you know that?
Yeah.
How did you know that? Wait, no. This is sorry. This is not quite that because
Oh, okay. Well.
Yeah. That's why I was like, that's not. This is an online qualifier. This is an online qualifier.
Oh, okay.
Australian Esports Federation Battle Down Under ANZ qualifier. But yeah, I have no memory of this. I have vague memories of this, but this is back in 2019, so it's been a very long time since I've played anything. So yeah, I look forward to it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Boy,
What else could it be?
Hope to make a series out of it. But that leads us into our next tournament. That leads us into the OC Elite Rising Star number 14. Yo, we have some progress. Oh, let's go! It finished.
Yeah, it did finish, and you know what? Last week the divorce arc continued between Jumi and Iba. This week it concluded potentially, as we have Jumi beating Iba once again 3-0 in those grand finals. Iba, before that though, we did have Iba taking a very close victory versus Hon Mono. So I don't know about you guys, but that's a really impressive result. I'm really impressed by that result there, but from Iba. But I mean, come on, we all knew that there was only one way this finals was gonna end.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jumi got the kids. 100. he got the kids, he got the car, he got the house, got everything. Mate, Jumi, he did drop a map to Arts, but he 2-0'd Middle VK, he 3-0'd Iba, and he 3-0'd Iba once again. Very strong showing here by Jumi.
Yeah, very nicely done.
My God.
Yeah, he dropped only one map.
This is a bit of a PSA for all those out there. Don't cheat on your spouse. Okay,
Remain faithful.
Remain faithful, because otherwise you'll get 6-0'd in one night.
Yeah, you ever seen that movie Kill Bill? No, I don't think that's what Kill Bill was about.
I don't think that's what it's about at all. What are you talking about? What's the
name of that movie where it's the what's it called? The guy cheats, but then the wife dies, but then comes back from the grave to get revenge.
Excuse me?
That was a movie. That was a movie.
That does sound like a movie. I thought you were gonna go for like God, the Keanu Reeves thing. The
Mr. Wick. No, John.
Yeah, John Wick. Yeah, I thought
John Wick.
Mr. Wick. That's what they call him. Yeah, he is Mr. Wick. You're not wrong. Yakko. He is Mr. Wick. God damn it.
I know it's a little bit different though.
But I think Revenge Story
his wife died, but then his dog got killed.
Yeah.
His dog that his wife left him got killed.
All I'm saying is, don't mess with Jumi. Don't mess with Jumi's
Don't mess
heart.
with Jumi Wick. Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Jumi. Let's go. But yeah, so congratulations to Jumi for coming on top and for claiming the OC Elite Rising Star number 14. That means we can finally start Elite Rising Star number 15. Let's go.
We can finally start it and take another 3 months to finish it.
It did take a very long time to finish. Scrolling on over actually very quickly, we can actually have a look at the liquidity page for Rising Star 15. Because throughout the entirety of this time, we've actually had qualifiers, if you recall, from the other Rising Star tournaments seeding into it, and we actually have a massive lineup for this tournament.
Yeah, we don't quite have a seeded bracket yet. It is going to be a single double elimination bracket, no group stage. I feel like saying a single double elimination bracket probably is confusing. So what I mean is no group stage, just one double elimination bracket.
Oh, yeah. For sure. So there are a lot of signups here, and do look forward to tuning into this next event. It is scheduled to begin tomorrow, but we'll see when it will start.
I like this a lot here. This is Foresight, right, from Eddie. It's scheduled to start tomorrow. The end date is scheduled for 31st December 2025. So he's giving himself a big buffer.
Yeah, optimistic. That's what I will say. Optimistic, but that's the best. Best of luck when it comes to hosting, running, and facilitating for the event. So best of luck to all the players competing in the next OC Elite Rising Star. That leads us into the OC King of the Hill number 208. Oh boy, we had quite a lot of green and quite a lot of blue. This King of the Hill.
Indeed, we have, but not always the same greens and not always the same blues. So we started off with Baby Marine versus Art. Baby Marine taking that victory and then going on to beat Young Yakov and Sebezdes, but did end up falling to another blue in the form of Percival. Jumi will end up getting revenge, though, for Baby Marine, beating Percival, beating Mixu, but then finally losing to Christianer, who went on a little bit of a winning streak himself, beating Iba, beating UD Soldier, beating Arog Fire, and beating Gerald, but ultimately ended up falling to Bjorn, who, much like in SCL King of the Hill, went on a little bit of a tear and didn't quite win the most number of matches, but as he did end up as the final winner after beating Christiana, Nicorect, Geralt, and Mana, did end up tying with Christiana when it comes to the prize pool money and the points.
Yeah, exactly. So congratulations to all the champions here we had tonight. To Baby Marine, Percival, Jimmy, Christiana, and Bjorn. As you mentioned, Bjorn, of course, being the final King of the Hill. But some really nice matchups were held here. Again, these are more or less the regulars you would expect when it comes to these big online open tournaments, especially when it comes to OSC events as well. Unfortunately, we barely didn't get Jimmy versus Iba again. Barely not. Yeah, we were one match away from each other.
That would have been the epilogue of the divorce arc.
Exactly. Instead, Christiana, he went on.
You know what? The epilogue of the divorce arc. Iba, he tears in his eyes. He's going to apologize to Jumi.
Oh no!
And right as he gets there, he sees Christiana pull the trigger on Jumi.
Oh no!
Jumi, he falls, and Christiana turns. He sees Iba, and he says, "No witnesses."
Jesus, what story are we telling? But yes, Christiana taking down both lovers. Yes, both lovers went down to Christiana. True.
Yeah. Reunited in the afterlife.
It's a happy ending. So regardless, GG will play. Congratulations to Bjorn for being the final champion. That leads into the OC season. The OC 2025 midseason playoffs number 1 did actually begin, I believe, earlier today or even yesterday. Did begin. We have a massive bracket.
Yesterday, depends on your time zone.
For sure. A massive bracket here available as we have once again begun with said OSC midseason playoff. The first round is underway, not completely concluded. When it comes to some results, we have Bappy. Bappy takes down Rebellion 2-1. Cham takes down Baby Marine 2-0. Middle VK takes down Demi 2-1. Sebestis takes down Lunacy 2-0. We had UD Soldier over GG Machine. Trigger over Milky Cow. Skillless over Mixu. And Chance over Hatsu.
GG. Wait, what do I see? Oh, right. Never mind.
Oh, good. But yeah, just a couple of matches.
A bit. I thought I saw Mixu twice here, and that I was mixing him up with Milky Cow.
Oh, good. But yeah, a couple of matches did wrap up, but not the entirety of the first round yet. There are some big names there that are taking part in this tournament. Some of the notables, of course, being Solar. We got big Koreans in the sense of Solar. We have Bjorn. We have Bunny as well.
Yeah, Bunny as well. Obviously, we have Gerald showing up, Shin 2, as well as Showtime. All of them still waiting to play off their matches. I'm looking at the bracket right now, Light, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. Sola versus Papi, Jumi versus Young Yakov. We could have the most ambitious crossover of our era in Solar in his redemption arc, going up against Jumi in his hero arc.
Oh yeah. I'm a big Jumi fan right now. Like, he's an animal, he's a beast. He's been getting some big wins back to back. So I look forward to seeing that potential matchup, of course. Likewise, El Chamaco, hot off of that best of 9 is also in strong form. I mean, hey, just 2-0 Baby Marine, so he's also going to be a threat here, a force to be reckoned with. We've got some of the other notables. We have Moja, we have Christiana, Night Phoenix, Jomek as well, Mana, Sebestis. Too many matches to go into, too much to really indulge in. So I do recommend it. Recommend checking out some of the matches. I believe Dave Testa was the first to stream some of these series, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more in the future from Dave, from ourselves, from Steadfast, from Chicken Man. Usually Eddie does reach out and does give some matches to rotate, yeah, he does rotate through the casters to kind of allow for the event to be covered.
Yeah, because otherwise having one caster for every single one of these matches, that's quite a bit.
It's a lot of StarCraft.
A lot of matches, yeah.
For sure. So best of luck to all those that are taking part in the mid-season playoffs. That leads us into our weekly open tournaments, or I should say our bi-weekly even, when it comes to our first event, into the Tenacious Turtle Tussle number 32.
Yes, hell yeah. And you know what? You were alluding to it a little bit earlier at the start of the cast, and I will kind of repeat this as well. Last week and the week before that, all had question marks on our heads. We were wondering, what happened to Australia? Did he like quietly retire? Or did he, was he, 2 weeks away from retirement and then just had his final case? And as it turns out, no, he has not. He is still back in the force. He is still back and looking to crack some cases as well as some cervezas. This week's Tenacious Turtle Tussle was in fact won by Estrella, who managed to beat Gerald, Björn, Percival, and Ragnar.
Yo, Astray, he had a crazy performance here. And as you mentioned, Astray, he was on hiatus. Like many players did take a break when it comes to waiting for EWC, right? Waiting for EWC, waiting for the announcement, waiting to figure out what the hell was going to happen with StarCraft coming into 2025. So like many others, he did go on an extended break, but now he is back. He is back after a long hiatus. And Astray, he is looking like he never left. Astray, he had a superior late game to Björn. That's what these games were. They didn't end. These weren't cheeses by any means. These were long macro late game matches. To Jimmy's dismay, that was like an hour and a half, almost 2 hour long series. And Jimmy was the lowest times were waiting, and Jimmy was like, "Papi, we want to play." It's like 4 a.m. in the morning. We do, and we did cover the upper semis first, so. Jimmy, he was struggling to maintain sanity while waiting for the upper semis to finish because they were both long macro games. Thankfully, no ace match. Geralt did take down Jimmy and did knock him back to bed. Did send him to bed, thankfully. And the finals was very clutch as well. Very intense finals. Like Geralt, despite Australia's performance in the late game against Björn, Australia versus Geralt was very intense and very back and forth and very clutch.
I remember waking up and looking at the Discord, the announcement, and seeing Estrella with that American flag next to him. And I was like, what? He's back?
Yeah, he's back.
He is. He never left. He's not back. He just never left.
Exactly. I did ask him, but after the win, I was like, everyone wants to know, what have you been doing in your time off? He's like, Cardstone.
No! Hashtag blame Starduck.
Hashtag blame Starduck. So Australia, he was spending time playing Cardstone during his free time during the down period. Clearly that has helped when it comes to his skill when it comes to StarCraft 2. Clearly.
I actually think that a lot of StarCraft fans and StarCraft players actually did check out Cardstone when they had the big like crossover kind of event, like because there was also that whole big single player campaign that was that was built around the StarCraft cards and heroes. So
exactly.
I guess Australia just particularly liked it.
Yeah, exactly. So he was able to spend some time playing that, and of course did come in and did get a big win here, taking down Björn 2-0, Percival 2-0, Geralt 3-2 as well. So congratulations to Australia for becoming this week's champion, maybe the first of many. As Australia, he was also taking part in some of these other tournaments. For now, that leads us into the Sparkling and Tuna Cup, where we had Björn Joa stepping into the ring here. He did go by undefeated, 2-0 and 3-0 all around. Björn having a much more dominant performance. This time, there was no Estrella to stop him.
No, there was not. And I'm sure he was heaving a sigh of relief. Detective Max Angel wasn't able to catch him.
Exactly. He was gone at that point. He was out of town, and while he was gone, that's when Björn could strike, and strike he did. Again, really strong performance here. I'll be honest, coming into this tournament, I was expecting Björn versus Cristiano. I was expecting Björn versus Cristiano in the finals, but Luna C out of left field took down Cristiano 2-0.
GG, nicely done.
Yeah.
Then I'm falling to Nicorakt, who came in second place to Björn, but regardless, still a crazy result here for Luna C.
Oh yeah, crazy result for Lunacy and a very impressive performance by Nickrak to make it all the way to the finals. It has been a long time since he has been in the finals of a Sparkling Tuna Cup, so very nicely done there by Nickrak. That leads us into our next big Open Cup. That leads us into the Wardy TV Monday number 33, where Björn's reign continues. Björn taking down Lemon, Geralt, Solar, and even Max Pax in the finals.
I love this. All right, so no Clem this week. Björn says, "Don't worry, I got you. We must have a Max Pax versus a Terran finals. No Clem, I got this. Makes it all the way, and yeah, even as he's mentioned, beats Max Pax.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? No Max Angel will stop him.
No Max Angel stop him. Max Pax. That's like the guy who's stealing Max Angel's identity.
Yeah. That's like Man Bat instead of Batman.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's like he even goes around like trying to do the Max Angel accent, but it's like comically bad.
Oh god.
Just like that episode of Lucifer. Yeah.
For whatever reason, this week, god damn it, whatever reason, this week, Björn, he again, after falling to a stray, he was on a tear, taking the win in Sparkling Tune Up, taking the win here in Wardy TV Monday as well. As you mentioned, Clem, he was not present for this tournament. Max Pax was, and I'll be honest, I was favoring Max Pax against everyone else here, but Björn had a really strong showing. What I will say is that Max Pax, he didn't seem like his, I don't know if I want to say his regular self. Max actually went for the same build every game. Every game he went for the same build. He went for a late third base. He went Twilight Council, 3-gate blink opener into Forge, into Robo. Basically very safe play out of Max Pax, and allowed Björn to be either very greedy at times or being hyper aggressive in a later game state to punish the third base. Like Max Pax, he was almost like and just playing very samey, very predictable, and Björn was able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I feel like that's the last thing you want to be versus Björn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. It felt a little bit odd just because we often see Max Pax, right? Like he's known for like 4-gate blink, like having the best 4-gate blink control in the world, being hyper aggressive at times, especially against Clem. Maybe because there was no Clem in the finals, he was like, oh, I can chill. He's like, oh, I can just calm down, I can chill. And hey, he won the first game doing that, but then Björn was able to kind of get used to his opponent and take the win in the end.
Doesn't really last.
So with that, GG will play. Congratulations to Björn for claiming the win. That leads us into the Monday Night Weeklings that evening here, as we do have Max Pax claiming his revenge. Once again, no Clem.
Yeah. No Clem, no... Well, there's Björn, but Björn did get knocked out early by other Protoss players. First Geralt and then Showtime.
Oh.
So, Max Pax did not have to face up against Björn, kept going, and was able to take the victory, not dropping a single map.
Right, sorry, I forgot to mention for the last tournament, it was no Clem, no Hero. He's also like either the champion or like one of the top three, right? Like when we think of these weeklies, it's Clem, Max Pax, and Hero. Usually like a combination of the three make it into the top two of these tournaments, but no Clem and Hero at all in these tournaments. So Max Pax, he had free reign, and this is what we expected out of the Wardy events in the Monday Night Weekly, where Max Pax, he goes by without dropping a single map.
Yeah, especially if with no Clem, no Hero, no Björn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no one to stop him. Yeah. As you mentioned, Björn, I mean, shout out to Geralt. Like, Geralt, he 2-0'd Björn. Showtime defeated Björn as well. So, Björn, it looks like he almost, like, maybe exerted himself too much previously in the Wardy TV Monday and maybe ran out of steam a little bit. With that, Björn did bow out earlier in the tournament. Shout out to Classic for making it to the finals. I don't think we've seen Classic in the finals of Monday Night Weekly before.
I think you're right on that one, yeah.
Yeah, again, like we used to seeing.
He hasn't played in too many of these, but still.
True. Yeah, usually he's not DGen. Like, usually he's the one going to bed at a regular time. So, yeah, really cool to see Classic popping off here. I think another player that I just realized that is missing is Trigger. He's usually also like a regular in these tournaments.
Yeah. I imagine Trigger has decided not to be DGen during GSL season, but who knows?
Do you think he sent Clem to bed? Is that what happened as
well? I think he did, yeah.
Let's go. With that, of course, we have Max claiming the win. That leads us into the Pickers on Monday number 29. We already mentioned the return of Estrella previously in the Turtle Tussle, and now we have some more Estrella action as well. Estrella, he takes down Vindicta, Tavito, Cure, and Shin in the finals to win it all and claim a second tournament this week.
Whew. Even more dominant showing from Estrella this time around.
Exactly. Like last time he 2-0'd Björn, but here he takes down Cure 2-0. Once again, Estrella showcasing his prowess in PvT and his mid to late game PvT as well. And Estrella had a very surprising result against Shin. Like I thought that Shin would fare well against Estrella, but Estrella also showcasing his PvZ, showing off his other matchups, I should say.
Yeah, quite well done. I mean, that was my big question mark, right? After looking at Tenacious Turtle Tussle. Sure, he beat a lot of good Terran players. Sure, he beat Geralt, but you know, what's his PvZ looking like? And evidently, it's looking pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Like this was not an easy tournament for him. Like to beat Cure and Shin and Miguelito, who also forced him to the ace match, by the way, just saying. With Benita also having good showing. But yeah, Estrella does claim the win, so 2 big wins there for Estrella. Max popping off, Björn popping off as well. Once again in this tournament, no Clem, but also no Max Packs. Max Packs, he got tuckered out after Monday night weekend. Couldn't stay up.
Yeah. Didn't have the stamina.
Vitality,
the vitality, the endurance, the constitution.
Did you get the new Oblivion remaster? Did you?
I haven't yet. I'm gonna wait until I can actually upgrade my PC so I can actually appreciate the full max settings.
I mean, you can also wait for like a sale as well, like maybe Christmas sale,
they'll probably
sale.
And they'll probably like line up as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll upgrade my PC next year, probably.
All good. But yes, that leads us into the next qualifier, actually. So we did mention last week how Bellum Gens, there was a wild card qualifier that was added. If you recall, initially we had assumed that it was a qualifier because of EWC, because it was now part of the circuit, and maybe some more players would want to take part in the event, and they didn't before.
I remember us doing quite a lot of math there and being like, okay, so now we're gonna have 18 players. How's this gonna work out for the for the actual event itself? Turns out, no, it was not the case, as we kind of mentioned earlier in the broadcast. Maru has forfeited his spot at Star Zagora to focus on both GSL and his health, and Rex has also forfeited his spot. We're not really sure why, but if I had to imagine, I think he also is going to be focusing more on casting GSL.
Exactly. Like, unfortunately, right, with all the schedules being released and with everything being so jam-packed, that did negatively impact some of the players and their ability to play in these tournaments. So because of Maru and Rex stepping away from Star Zagora, we did have the wild card qualifier in its stead. And quite an interesting qualifier, might I add.
Wild result for the wild cards, yeah. We of course have our two qualified players, and honestly, they're two who I would not have expected. So Shameless is our first one, beating out not just Euthermal, but also Gumiho in round 2. And then we have Christianer, who beat out Geralt and Percival and Phallinger. So, wild stuff.
I mean, based on the brackets, I would say that I would have 100% favored Cristiano there to make it through. But as you mentioned, Gumiho is the big one. Gumiho, he was the big name here in the qualifier. So for Shameless to bring Gumiho down, that is a crazy upset and a crazy result. Of course, we've been hyping up Shameless for the past year, but I'm sure there are a lot of more kind of mainstream fans of StarCraft that only watch these big events, that they're going to tune into Star Zagora. They're going to be like, who the hell is Shameless? So this is going to be a big event for him. One of the biggest, I'm sure, that he's ever taken part in, actually, if not the biggest.
I believe you're right there, yeah.
Again, he's a really young player, so like he doesn't really have too much experience when it comes to offline tournaments, if any experience at all in offline tournaments. So yeah, I'm really excited to see Shameless be able to show up for the first time and take part in Star Zagora.
Yeah. Definitely cool to see.
For sure. This qualifier was also a little bit telling because if you remember, this is the first qualifier that actually players had the knowledge that this was an EWC event, so I was really curious to see if there were any new
Right.
signups. Gimiho was the big Korean one. I'm a little bit surprised that we did not see Hero, but as you mentioned, it's hard for the Koreans to compete in this tournament because of
Yeah.
GSL.
Yeah, it's very possible that, especially the top Korean players like Maru and like Hero might just be thinking, okay, just focus on winning GSL and then I'll have secured my spot for EWC.
Exactly. Like, for this to be in the middle of the GSL seasons is brutal, especially for people that want to practice and be informed for GSL. So it is unfortunate. I feel honestly, I just feel really bad for the organizers of Stars Agora, right? Because
they were the first to organize an event. They
Yeah.
didn't have to wait for EWC to make an announcement. They just said the last one went really well. We really liked organizing it, so we're gonna have another one for 2025, no matter what. And then it felt like they were kind of shoehorned with the late announcement of StarCraft 2 at EWC. It felt like they were kind of shoehorned in to have to provide one qualifying spot.
Yeah, and well, the problem being that because of the later tournaments were announced later, like GSL, it does negatively impact the tournament, which means suddenly Mars not going to be there, where he otherwise would have. He otherwise would have been there 100%. But it's not Stars Agora's fault that that he can't now because all these other tournaments were announced. It's like, I guess they kind of got screwed out a little bit.
Yeah, man.
Like, I'm sure they were really looking forward to
it. I would be bitter about that personally, but
yeah,
they're not, which is why they're tournament organizers and I'm not.
Yeah, but like as tournament organizers, I'm sure they were very excited to see Maru take part. I mean, a lot of people are because Maru's been very MIA for a while now.
I was actually watching the Asian qualifiers for this, and the casters themselves were super hyped when they saw Maru in, and they were saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm super excited for this because specifically we haven't had GSL this year. We haven't been able to see a lot of these Korean players, but yeah, finally we're going to be seeing Maru back at it, Ryung as well, Zaun, all of these guys. We're finally going to get some Korean action, and I'm sure they were very excited, like you were mentioning, to have Maru and Rex at their tournament, and now they're not going to be there."
Yeah, for sure. So it is a shame, and it does hurt them, as an organizer, as a tournament organizer. And they're still going to be an amazing event. Don't get me wrong. They still have Cyril, they still have Raynor, they still have Clem, right? But they have less of that star factor of specifically Korea versus Europe. Like, everyone loves seeing Korea versus Europe, and I'm sure everyone would have loved to have seen Maru versus Raynor versus Cyril versus Clem. And yeah, now that isn't going to happen, unfortunately. Still some, again, amazing matches going to be held, but that specific aspect is not going to be there as much. Of course, I still have Zan and Ryung taking part, but not quite the same as Maru is the best Terran in Korea.
Yeah, the best Terran in Korea, and until we can see him compete, the second best player in Korea. Because I think Hero probably has more results currently.
Yeah, right now I think that's fair. I think just because Maru's been inactive, right? And Maru, he hasn't been able to showcase himself anywhere near as much. But regardless, with that, GG well played. Congratulations to all those players that did actually make it through into the main event. And again, of course, CranKy did illuminate us when it comes to the reasoning as to why Maru couldn't compete, and gave a little bit of insight as to what was happening.
Yeah, as the fact that it isn't just Maru, it's pretty much all of the Korean players who have to pick and choose. But for Maru specifically, it was easier because, again, the shoulder strain does impact travel a little bit, or rather, I should say, can be worsened through travel. As I say shoulder pain and travel, suddenly I'm reminded of 2022 ESL Masters, or no, DreamHack Atlanta, I think. We had that semifinals between Hero and Maru, and beforehand, Hero was like, "Yeah, so I think my plan to beat Maru is I'm going to hire somebody to sneak into his room and bash his shoulder with a crowbar tonight before we play."
Oh, no.
I don't know why that suddenly just popped into my head when I hear shoulder pain, Maru, #blame Hero.
Regardless, best of luck to those that are going to be competing in Stars Agora. Best of luck, as that is going to be coming right around the corner. That also leads us into the Wardy TV Boomer Bash. Now, you may be curious, maybe thinking, hold up, didn't this take place quite some time ago? Yes, this did take place back in March, but the finals were postponed because, if you recall, at the time, Lambo was traveling for sort of's wedding. So because the finals were postponed until a couple of days ago, where they were able to have their match, Hero versus Lambo, in those finals.
Yeah, it did end up concluding Hero beating Lambo 4-1, which is, I guess, the expected result. But man, I was really pulling for Lambo once when I saw him in the finals, and after remembering that I basically disparaged him in the group stage and in the playoffs as well. I was like, oh yeah, there's no way Lambo is gonna be making it all the way. By the time he got to the finals, I was like, okay, Lambo, let's fucking go.
Yeah. Really impressive stuff here. Again, Lambo is one of the younger upstarts in the event. If you remember, he is 29, so under that 30-year period. Hero
29 going on to 30 this year.
Yes,
Just to make that distinction.
Yes, and Hero, he of course is 32.
1995.
32 going into 33. But again, Hero for the Boomers.
So the young versus the old. Yeah.
Yeah, Hero with it for the Boomers, he does come out on top, does claim the win. As you mentioned, it was expected, but I would have said it would have been expected for Showtime to beat Lambo and for Solar to beat Lambo as well. Like Lambo, he had a very strong performance in this tournament. Very impressive. Despite going down in the finals, like for him to make it to the finals is a crazy result.
Well, the thing is, he couldn't beat Showtime and Solar because, wait, actually I have to double check for Showtime. Okay, never mind. I was going to say he couldn't lose to Showtime or Solar because he's older than both of them, but no. Showtime actually is older than Lambo. Just turned 31.
There you go. So, congratulations to Hero, as he is the Boomer of the Boomer Bash.
Yeah,
so
the big Boomer.
He is the
not
biggest
the oldest
Boomer.
player here.
No.
That distinction goes to TLO and then followed by Classic, but one of the older players.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh wait, no, how old's Reng? Okay, yeah, Reng is the same age as Classic.
Yeah. So congratulations to Hero and a shout out to Lambo for making it as far as he did. Crazy impressive result here out of Lambo, by the way. As that does wrap up the Boomer Bash. That leads us into the Rex April Madness. Of course, we had the March Madness last month, and now we have the April Madness as well. We already went over the group stage, and now we have the playoffs.
Which I still maintain, April Madness makes no sense, but you know what? I can't complain because there was some good matches.
Oh yeah, some very good matches here. We had the playoff bracket, of course. We had Hero versus Zound. Hero did take down Zound 3-1. Rogue had a crazy upset over Clem. This was an insane result coming in as well. Clem, I would say, was heavily favored to even win the entire tournament, but he got knocked out early by Rogue.
Yeah, I think that was one of the only matches I was able to catch live, and it was insane what I was seeing. I was like, okay, Rogue doing like a sneaky little, I remember a Nidus play at one point. I mean, beating Clem with that, okay, that's fine. But then he beat him with some, in the other two games, from what I remember, they were just some very, very crisp and well-executed timing attacks that Clem was not prepared for.
Yeah, it was a crazy performance there by Rogue to bring Clem down. A crazy upset as well. Potentially the reason why Clem, took some time off this week when it comes to the weekends. Maybe maybe just took some time to recover and to recuperate and to hold that grind. We had Solar taking down Bunny. We had Maxfax taking down Classic, and Maxfax, he went on a tear. I was expecting a closer series between Maxfax and Hero in the finals, but Maxfax, he was looking very strong in said finals. A lot of these games came down to the wire. A lot of these games were like Phoenix Wars or like early all-ins. Like there was like a lot of finesse that came into them, but in the end, Maxfax did take the win.
Yeah, well played. I mean, it's that theory, right, where if you have two best of the best players and they are very, very evenly skilled, it usually comes down to who makes the first mistake. And in this case, unfortunately, Hero was that first, and Maxfax was very quick to take advantage of those situations. So while the series looks one-sided, the games themselves were very, very close.
Oh, yeah, they were very close indeed. So congratulations to Maxfax for becoming the Rex April Madness champion. I did ask Rex if there was going to be a May Madness, and he was...
Madness.
Yeah, excuse me?
That's Madness, yeah. May Madness, Madness.
So you have to wear the maid outfit? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You have to.
the venue is a mate cafe, yeah.
No. Not like this. I did ask him about another event, and but he did say that because of the offline events that are going to be coming up, there's no room. There's no room for it.
Yep.
So most likely after some of the offline events die down, then we might see the return of Rex's tournaments.
Yeah, I imagine he's going to be casting GSL as well, so
Mhm.
that probably eats up some of his time.
For sure. So with that, we'll keep an eye out for any future Rex tournaments. Regardless, great to see him hosting these events on a regular basis, at least for these 2 months. And I'm sure he'll come back later on in the year of 2025.
July Madness, August Madness, Augustus.
Oh, Augustus the Mad.
Augustus, yeah. Or group.
Good. That leads us into the Awarding TV Spring
Septembus.
Championship. As we had already gone over the group stages of this event, but something that did take place this week was the playoff bracket. The playoff bracket did take place, did conclude, and here we were able to see Clem actually go down early on. From the beginning, we had Björn take down Trigger, went to a lot of ace matches in the first round. Björn took down Trigger 3-2, Zaun took down Classic 3-2, Hero took down Clem 3-2, and Max taking down Solar 3-1.
That was the only match the only series in the playoff bracket that didn't go to the ace match. But don't worry, Solar did take Clem to the ace match in the lower bracket. So
yeah, impressive result there by Solar.
I count it.
Yeah, to bring him to the ace match. That leads us into the upper bracket semifinals, where Max took down Hero 3-2. This time, again, a much closer score result, at least. Again, the games, I'm sure, were very, very intense. Max did take down Hero. Zaun took down Björn 3-0. Strong showing there by Zaun. We mentioned earlier that he was struggling a little bit against Zerg, but here against Terran, it did look very potent, very strong. Max 3-0 over Zaun, a dominant result there. And then Clem, he clawed his way back up. After being knocked down by Hero, made it all the way to the finals to win the entire tournament.
Yeah, beating Solar, beating Clem, beating Classic, beating Zaun, and finally facing MaxPax, the final boss of the tournament. That loss to Rogue, I think, ignited something in him.
Yeah, Clem did not drop a single map in. Clem did not drop a single map in those finals. That was a 4-0 scoreline, just 1 point from MaxPax coming from the upper bracket. Again, Clem showing his dominance and prowess against MaxPax at least, but again did struggle a little bit against some of the other competitors, against Solar, against Hero. But regardless, Clem, he does take the win here. Again, Clem, he is the reigning world champion. He's the best player in the world. We do expect him to take these wins. That's why whenever he goes down early, it is a surprise. And again, it did struggle early on, but then he finally found his stride after playing Protoss.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what it takes.
It is.
I also want to mention this. I don't really want to gloss over that. Classic also beat Hero 3-1.
True. He beat Trigger and Hero. Those are some impressive results here from Classic. I mean, that also goes to show, we did mention that Classic did make it to the finals earlier of the Monday Night Weeklies, which was a surprise as well. It doesn't often happen. So this was also a very nice win from Classic over Trigger, over Hero. Impressive.
Yeah.
And that leads us in.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that leads us into the Pigsty Festival number 6, an event that is actually taking place as we speak. We have the group stage. Now, again, this has all been, I don't want to say rushed, but like we've been going through these day after day after day after day. I know that Pig, he does have a vacation scheduled soon, TM, to take a break from streaming and from casting. So that's why the Pig Fest 6 was so close to Pig Fest number 5, but a very big event nonetheless. And we are going to be concluding our group stage tonight.
That we are, Group D. 4 players remaining, 2 more to eliminate, at least tonight.
Yeah, so first things first, we have Group A. We had Serral, Mana, Classic, and Björn. Serral coming out in first place. Did drop some maps, though. Did drop a map to Mana. Did drop a map to Classic as well. Did come out on top in the end. But again, we had definitely trading some matches here.
Yeah, a couple of close calls over there, but all in all, very about what we'd expected. I think Mana might have been a bit of an underdog. Especially against Björn and Classic. I guess that's a bit of an upset there, but we never doubted.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Like, Mana, he was not favored to make it out of this group. He took down Björn 2-1 and Classic 3-1, and he took a map off of Serral. So, insane results out of Mana in this group. Very impressive.
All right, you sold me. I think he's going to be our finalist at the very least, if not a champion.
I mean, we were just praising Classic for his PvP, right? And because
Yeah.
he took down Trigger and Hero, and Mana just brought him down. So impressive stuff. Beyond, likewise, Beyond, he also won 2 weeklies this week, right? He was able to
Yeah.
claim some wins. Remember, Beyond, he took down Max Max. He took down Max Max
I
in this week's Woody TV Monday.
I think that's a problem. He used up all of his TVP energy to take down Max Max. He didn't have any remaining for Classic and Mana.
True. So in the end, Mana comes out in second place. Crazy results there in Group A. We move over to Group B. As a reminder, these are GSL groups as well. These are not round robin. These are GSL groups. We have Clem, Zaun, Rogue, and Skillus.
Yeah, this time a bit less of an upset, I would say. Clem, I think we all expected to make it out first, and yeah, number 2 could have gone to any of these 3 remaining players. In the end, it did go to Zaun. Zaun, who beat Rogue 2-0, and then actually beat Rogue twice in this group stage.
Yeah, Zaun, he was expressing his struggles in PvZ previously, but at least in this group, at least against Rogue, Zaun, he was able to look much more dominant. Fun fact, Clem did actually not play Rogue at all this group, and I'm sure he's happy about that. Remember, Clem, he went down to Rogue in the April Madness, but did avoid him here in this group.
Yeah. Heaved a sigh of relief, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. That leads us into Group C. Group C, we had Hero, Cure, Showtime, and Creator.
Yeah, Hero making it out first, beating Creator 2-1, and then Cure 3-1. Cure making out second after beating Showtime 2-1, and actually, Showtime twice.
Yeah, exactly. I would say that Hero and Cure, they were a lot more favored in this group, and it was a little bit more clear cut. I say that like Showtime, he was able to put up a fight, definitely taking maps off of, taking series off of Creator and taking maps off of Cure. But in the end, Hero and Cure, they make it through, and that leads us into the final group, Group D, which is currently underway.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, good showing for Creator as well, making it all the way to the ace match and all those matches. So very, very close, but no cigar.
Oh yeah, very close indeed. When it comes to Group D, we are halfway through. Raynor takes down. We have Raynor, Dark, Bunny, and Estrella. Raynor takes down Bunny 2-0. Dark takes down Estrella 2-1, and likewise, Bunny takes down Estrella. So Estrella, he is the first to be knocked out of Group D, despite Estrella's successes in the Open Cups here in this prepared format or in this GSL group. Estrella, he does struggle a little bit more here tonight.
A little bit of an oof there from Estrella. We also have Dark versus Raynor currently underway. Dark actually up 1, so.
Oh, okay. As a reminder, again, Dark, he did state that this weekend was going to be his final event. But actually, this is also this weekend as well. Yeah, this this weekend is going to be the Pixie Festival. We'll see if Dark can actually advance on over Raynor. I would favor Raynor 100%, but remember, this is not your typical Raynor. This is a Raynor that's been lost in the Rift for like the past 3 months.
The Summoner's Rift, yeah.
Yeah, he has been stuck in the Rift here. And do you have any predictions coming? I mean, it's kind of weird predictions just because the group is halfway done. But we have Raynor, Dark, and Bunny. Who do you think are the top 2 to make it out? Do you think it's going to be the Zergs? Do you think Bunny can get his revenge? Can he make it out as well?
Well, I'm always rooting for Bunny. But also, I think it would be really funny if Dark won the whole thing. So I'm going to call it Finals Dark versus Mana.
Let's go. So you think Dark makes it out of Group D? Do you think Raynor makes it out? Do you think Bunny makes it out? Who do you?
I'm gonna go for Bunny.
Okay.
Because he hasn't been in the Rift.
Fair enough. I unfortunately I didn't get to see the games themselves yet. KSL 2 weeks ago, Bunny did actually look really scary against, like, he beat Dark, like he looked really strong against Dark. So I actually favor Bunny versus Dark if they face off again, but if Dark beats Raynor in this series, then they're not going to play. So Dark would have avoided Bunny. It's hard to say here. I guess I lean towards Dark and Raynor. I guess, but I'm a big Bunny fan. I want him to do well. It's a hard one to call, but yeah, I'll go for the double Zerg just to be different.
Yeah. Just cause.
Otherwise, the playoff bracket is actually being formulated as we speak. We have several Clem, Hero, Zaun, Cure, Mana, and potentially 2 more players. So you're feeling Dark to win it all here as he heads off to the military.
Yeah, I think it would be really funny.
I think it'd be really fitting. I hope he does well. I do hope that Dark makes it to the playoffs. I hope that even in the playoffs, he's able to have a good performance and a good run as well. Just because it's going to be his last big tournament. So
Yeah,
hope he does well.
I agree.
Otherwise, I think Clem is just going to win it all. I'll be regardless.
Yeah.
Regardless, the best of luck to all the competitors out there in Group D. And again, the playoff bracket will take place tomorrow. Again, it's like back to back to back to back. So playoffs are tomorrow. So best of luck to all the competitors in that tournament as the Pigsty Festival will wrap up this weekend. And we'll be catching up next week with the rest of the Pigsty Festival.
Yeah, we'll see you then.
We'll see you then. And that does wrap up our final events of the week, our final coverage here. If you are a competitor yourself, if you want to take part when it comes to amateur events or even some of these big main open cups as well, then do check out the signups page. We do have a command in the chat, !, signups, and there is a link here to a page where we do bring together all the open brackets where you can very easily see your own time zone. You can see the countdown timers as well and take part in some of these tournaments.
Yeah. Give them all a little bit of a look-see. We do have quite a few coming up this upcoming May. Of course, some of them will require you to actually be present at the venue itself. I'm thinking like GSL, Jim McDallas, and whatnot, but it's still plenty of online events to go for.
100%. Events like Sparkling Tuna Cup, events like the What Is It Mondays, Pickers on Mondays, KSL is tomorrow. Bear that in mind. We have Hatchery Cup. We have the StarCraft Evolution League. There's a lot on the horizon here, a lot to take part in. Also, speaking of some of these events, if you want to help support the CranKy Ducklings, you can do so via Patreon. !Patreon in the chat, and you'll get a link to our Patreon page. Again, our page does help fund our tournaments, our regular weeklies, and our monthly events as well.
Yeah. It's always much appreciated. You can even join for free if you're just interested in things like updates and staying current with our schedule. But otherwise, no obligation, but always appreciated.
Exactly. So again, 100% of the money on Patreon goes towards the players for Sparkling Tuna Cup, Sea Duckling Open, and Master Swan Open as well. It's all done via Patreon. So thank you so much to all of our card patrons, to all of our supporters, and help us reach our next goal. As our next goal is to boost the prize pool even further of Sparkling Tuna Cup. So help us reach that goal. Otherwise, we're happy. Otherwise, we went over the news. We did it.
We did, yeah.
Crazy.
We're done.
Pretty fast.
Got it done.
There was no interview.
Well, we didn't have to present our thoughts on anything.
We still had a pretty lengthy discussion, I want to say, about the ladder map pool. I think I enjoyed that, going through it and going through
speculation of the future as well.
100%. I do think there's value there. If you maybe tune in from Lunacy's raid, then I do recommend checking out the VOD, as we did have a discussion over the ladder map pool and the potential future patches as well. I do recommend it. Otherwise, Yaku, I want to thank you for coming on. And something that we have mentioned before, I know that Yaku used to cast very frequently, very often on the channel. That did kind of die down a little bit as you were focusing on your studies. Recently, of course, you did graduate. You graduated, you concluded your studies, and I know that you are soon going to be focusing on your IRL career, if I'm not mistaken.
Career sounds very official. Like
it does.
Or it does sound very committed, which, as everybody knows, that's my biggest fear.
Oh, no. But, are you like Eva? Is that what you're saying? Oh, no.
Well, I'm not quite like Eva, because I'm not going to commit to something before I know I can commit to it.
There you go.
But, a little bit. That is news, or an update, I guess I should say. I did actually manage to land a full-time role, and I will actually be starting it tomorrow. So for the upcoming and the near future, I'm probably not going to be showing up on the CranKy Ducklings channel itself, unless we do some kind of pre-recorded stuff, or if I'm sick, or if I take sick leave, and that happens to line up with something.
I mean, we always wish you the best, Yak. Always wish you the best. I mean, you're gonna be relatively free of the weekend, so maybe. I mean, I will say, especially because you're going to be working each weekday, I'm sure you want to take some rest.
Yep.
But every now and then, if there's a weekend broadcast
My-
like a Sparkling Tuna Cup or StarCraft Evolution League.
Yeah. Well, we'll also see how it goes because unless I'm requested to do any overtime, for people who don't know, standard hours in Singapore typically it goes until 6 p.m. and that's actually when the PondCast starts for me. So if I can somehow figure something out, find a little quiet corner.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
yeah. For the most part, most likely you're not going to be seeing my face as often here.
Yeah. We'll try to make something happen, Yaku, where you can jump on every now and then whenever you have some free time. Again, maybe ideally over the weekend or something, if you're not too fatigued or anything like that. But
I'm not in bed, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. for sure. But overall, we're very happy for you, and I'm sure you're still gonna find some time to play in some Sea Ducking Opens and Master Sword Opens. I'm sure. Maybe.
Will I be legible?
True.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to ladder as much. So
yeah, not wrong. But regardless, wish you the best, and hopefully we're able to see some of you at least in the coming months, in the coming weeks. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up just because if next week we have the podcast, if there's no Yaku, Yaku is going to be hard at work.
Yeah, or hardly working.
hopefully. But yeah, so thank you so much, Jakob, for joining me here tonight, and hopefully we're able to see more of you in the future at some point. Shout out to Kuro as well. Kuro, of course, handling the production behind the scenes. Thanks to Kuro, we're able to actually host the podcast, of course, organizing, making sure the graphics look as nice as possible. The likewise portrayal of all the events as well on stream, production side of things. So big shout out to Kuro for helping to facilitate for all of that. And of course, we'll be back next week with some more podcast action. When it comes to our weekly schedule, we're going to be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, we are scheduled to cover the Kung Fu Cup StarCraft Evolution number 8 edition tomorrow morning. That's going to be in 11 hours time. Tomorrow, we're also currently scheduled to cover Lily Cup number 38 as well. And we also have the Basilisk Big Brain Bout in the evening that I'm going to be partaking in. I will say this, though. We might push back Lily Cup 38. The reasoning for that is it is actually going to finish up quite close to the beginning of the Big Brain Bouts, and I kind of want to be well rested and ready for my show match. So it feels a little bit selfish, but we might postpone tomorrow's evening cast just so we can prepare and get ready and pop off in the Big Brain Bouts. We'll see. Like, I want to, put on a good show ideally, but
for fans.
For the fans, papi, for the fans. Good games. True.
Gaming.
Esports, not esport.
Yeah. Team. Not GG.
Oh, GG. Otherwise, Yaku, where can people find more of you? I know you're going to have a little bit less free time, but maybe a weekend here and there we might see like a Yaku stream at some point. Maybe?
Yeah, potentially. That'll be over at twitch.tv/YakuZaku1. You can also probably find me over at Twitter.com at Empora Yakuzaku, or more often and more likely in the future, Blue Sky at Yakuzaku !Discord as well. We'll bring you to the CranKy Ducklings Discord server, where you can find me, you can find Kuro, you can find Light, and that's probably most likely where you're going to be finding me in the up and coming weeks and months. I will always be shitposting, so.
There you go. So check out Yaku over in his own channel, whether it's Blue Sky, whether it is Twitch. Meanwhile, you can follow me at Light_VIP. I have been streaming and laddering every single day this week. What I will say is that has been taxing my workload because it means I have had less time to schedule VODs and to edit VODs as well, so I'm falling a little bit behind on that. But I did want to make sure I was informed when it comes to the Big Brain Bouts. Starting next week, I will most likely be streaming less often. Streaming a little bit less, again, just catching up on work and catching up on things. But you can follow me there on my personal channel if you wish. I do try to stream on a semi-regular basis, whether it's Final Fantasy or StarCraft ladder sessions. I will say after the Big Brain Bouts, I look forward to maybe playing some other games on my stream, like some Final Fantasy 16, for example, and maybe some other games as well. So I look forward to that content if you're interested.
Have you... Because I know you wrapped up Spider-Man a while ago, but now we have Miles Morales.
I did wrap that up.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yes. But Spider-Man 2 came out January of this year.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yes. Spider-Man 2 came out, and I would love to
And
play
this time
that.
the protagonist is Miles, I believe.
They mix and match. They
Am I
switch
right?
back and forth.
Okay.
Between the two.
Double protagonist. All right.
Yeah, there you go. I will play that after I finish Final Fantasy 16. Like I got Final Fantasy 16 for my birthday in October, and I want to finish it. I want to get through it. So that's one by one. We'll get there. We'll get there for sure. Yeah. For sure.
Potentially Divinity at one point.
now we might have even less of a chance for that to happen if you're busy during the week. But one day, Papi, one day we'll make it happen. Like maybe you know what? I'm gonna look at it right now. Yaku, Christmas. I'm sure you're gonna have some public holidays for Christmas. Divinity. Yeah. Kure? Good off.
Christmas Eve is not a public holiday here, but Christmas Day is.
I am busy on Christmas always.
Never mind. Maybe next year.
New Year's.
Go on, New Year's.
I mean, New Year's is more likely.
There you go. The New Year stream.
There we go.
Divinity.
A New Year stream. We have the Solar New Year, and then 2 months later, you got the Luna New Year.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
There we go.
One of them. We'll have a Divinity stream. Lock it in. Otherwise, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the support. We do appreciate it. And we'll see you guys either next week for the next podcast or tomorrow for some Kung Fu Cup or for some Little League Cup. Again, tentative on Little League Cup. We might postpone that just to get ready for the show match. We'll play it by ear. We'll see.
Yeah. We shall. We'll tune it.
Exactly. Fine tuning.
Finally, yeah.
God, that's gonna be the next team.
Actually, what I was thinking of at first, but
there you go. With that, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the support, and we'll see you guys next time. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao.
Bella.